Hello and welcome to another episode of Savva Talks Spurs, everybody's favourite team. Isn't that right, Graham?
Correct.
Everyone's favourite team. I am joined once again by the man, the myth, the legend that is Graham Harrison. Graham, it's bloody hot outside. How are you doing today?
I'm bloody hot. When I got back in the car just now, it was 39 degrees, the outside temperature. It did go down a little bit, but a bit too warm for me, but don't knock it.
I'm not knocking it. I'm happy.
No.
I'm happy. Look, we're going to talk some football and then we'll go out in the garden and catch some rays.
Well, we're both dressed in black, so it looks ominous for the programme.
I do it for slimming. For slimming reasons.
Luckily, they can only see my shoulders and above.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So today we are going to talk about a number of things. First and foremost, we are going to kick off by talking about Lautaro Martinez. We will then have a look at, I want to have a look at the difference between a squad versus an 11, because Graham, you know how passionate I am about squads.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about fans' mentality versus club's ambition, see if it all matches up. And then the fact that Graham was alive and was actually at the 66 World Cup final, right?
Yes, not many of us left. I think the Queen and Kenneth Clark are the other two.
Okay, so the reason I mention that is we are going to go through Graham's all-time top 10 players that have played for Tottenham. And as somebody who is as qualified a coach as you can get in the country, has worked in youth football, has worked for Cheltenham Athletic, worked for England schools, been a scout, been a coach, managed district sides, coached players like Jimmy Bullard, Jermaine Defoe, Leon Knight, Liam Ridgewell.
Harry Arter. Keep going.
Yeah, Harry Arter.
I think of a few more. There's loads of them.
There'll be a few. The point is, Graham is very well learned when it comes to football and Tottenham Hotspur, and his top 10 players will be 10 absolute class footballers.
I wrote down about 25 to start with, and it was very, very difficult to eliminate people off. But
absolutely. But we'll get to that later.
Yes.
We'll get to that later.
Yes.
And also it'll be a chance for some of the younger fans to understand and learn about some of the players, right? Some of the players that have come even before my time. Because believe it or not, I'm not the same age as Graham. We might look like brothers.
Looking at both of us here, isn't it? It's hard to believe.
Absolutely. Before we get cracking on about Lautaro Martinez, let's just see who's in the shop, who's with us today. We have got Ilias, who has said we're getting 1K today. I hope so. We are on 993 subscribers. Please just all smash the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't, and let's see if we can get me to 1,000. Interstellar has said, good grief, I'm actually going to see the stream live. You're welcome. Emil, who I've been talking to today on YouTube, has said, do you lot think Martinez would downgrade club unless game time? I am going to talk to Graham about this in a minute and completely rip these very low ambitious opinions apart. Apologies. You know how direct I am. Don't get offended. I never mean it with offence, do I, Graham?
No. I mean, I'll just sit here and listen to you. We have got Ben Saleh Youssef saying, how's everyone doing? Martin Wild has said, if we have 77 million to bid on one player and 50 for a left back, does that mean we will spend over 200 million? We are going to talk about that. Martin Wild again. This was me saying 2 minutes. Luan, welcome, Man United fan, but always loyal, always in the chats. So big up to you. We've got Adam Searles. Good afternoon to you, Adam. We've got Paul. Thank you very much for doing my thumbnail with about an hour's notice. I appreciate it. Mark Scrubby Cousins. We've got a few people. We've got Hellos. We've got 164 Spur. We've got Freddie SP. We've got a lot of people. We've got David Clark in the house. We've got PB and Jam. My guy Dude Bro. I love that name. Live from Los Angeles. So, Graham, let me talk. Let's kick off and I will come to your comments. Of course, you know I always will. Graham, Lautaro Martinez, this one won't go away. I think like this is maybe the third window in a row where Martinez of Inter Milan and Argentina has been linked with us. We've all seen him play. What do you think of him? Is this a good link? Are you happy that we're linked with such a player? Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's a very, very good player. He must look at Spurs at the moment and think, yeah, I wouldn't mind going there. And again, it's the Conte thing, isn't it? The Conte thing is going to attract players. Yeah, definitely go for him. No problems at all.
All this, will he get in the side? I mean, we've heard this before. If Kane gets injured first game, what do we do then? Look round for Dane Scarlett to play. This is the problem. You need a squad. Man City, Liverpool, there's 5 subs this season.
Yeah.
I mean, Klopp and Pep haven't pushed that for any reason. You know, they want as many. They're bringing on internationals. I mean, our bench this season really was awful, wasn't it? I mean, it's the worst bench I think I've seen for Spurs.
Yeah.
And Conte must look round in some games, said 20 minutes to go, and think, oh my God, when he looks along that line, I can't bring anybody on here as good or better than what's out there already.
Yeah.
And it's no good taking somebody off with 20 minutes to go and put somebody on who's not as good.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately weakening the side, aren't you? It's common sense. So Martinez, yes, without a shadow of a doubt. There's going to be some rotation here. Of course there will be this year. But we've got away with it last year because towards the end, Kane and Son played every game. Now, they can't do that over the course of a complete season. It's impossible. You can't do it. So there's going to be times where you think, right, he's got a bit of a niggle, slight hamstring problem, Son. Instead of putting him out there and risking him being out for ages, you can say, right, you sit on the bench now, even if it's only for an hour. And it's going to be a squad rotation. We've got to improve that bench because we're not going to stay at the top if we go in with just a bare 11 and not much else, because they're going to get injured. It's obvious.
Can I just off the back of that, when you say we've got to improve the bench, I agree with you. But for me, I don't see that you have a set 7 or 8 players that are on the bench every week. I see it's about rotation. So I put a post out this morning saying to people on YouTube saying, what do we think of Martinez? Should we sign him? Now, look, guys, before everyone goes, it won't happen. I, for one, again, I don't believe anything until I see them in a Spurs shirt. I'm just talking about this one won't go away, right? And Graham, let me bring you in to talk about this. Before I talk about the fans' mindset, because it's something that I'm really big on, and I do feel a lot of our fans want to support a big club but don't have the big club mentality. But before we get onto that, Martinez joined Spurs. Everyone's telling me, why would he come and sit on a bench behind Kane? Don't City do this? Don't Liverpool do this? Don't they rotate all their players so they all get so much game time across 4 competitions?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Salah and Mane sometimes when they're taken off in a game, they don't like it. They want to play every game. But Klopp's sensible. He knows full well that if you play Mane and Salah, the last 15, 20 games of the season, you might not have either of them.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that. You've got to be able to move. I mean, he's going to pick his games, isn't he? If you play Man City at home or Man City away, you're not going to leave Harry Kane out, are you? Probably, There might be other games where you think, right, Harry, you've had a tough game here. Rest. Got to rest because they're all getting older. They're not spring chickens now. They're all getting up to that 30 mark.
Yeah.
And around that 30 mark, and if we're down to nobody, we're going to struggle even to make the top 4 if that happens. So yes, get as many. I mean, Man United had that great season, and they had 4 strikers. How did he? I know Ferguson frightened the daylights out of them, but
yeah. Just before you go on to that, Graham, sorry, but again, it's comments like this, which is why I think Spurs deserve no success. Not this. Sorry, Hasper. I clicked on yours by mistake. How are you, Has? Are you good? Yes. Kane, Son, Kulu, Martinez's options would be brilliant. It's things like this. And David, sorry, I don't mean to pick on this, but when he's shouting at me saying, because their club status is far higher than ours, Graham, I thought the whole point of Conte coming in was to build something to win, right? Yeah. Was to elevate us to that next level. So why are fans in one sentence we're asking for top signings and we're asking for Conte, managers like Conte and the best stadium in the world, but then in another breath, we're going, oh no, we can't have more players than Kane and Son because who will come and play? Who will come and sit on a bench? Let's merge all this in, Graham. I don't get this mentality. I don't understand how Spurs, who could have 60 games next year, chuck in a World Cup as well, Graham, chuck in any other Ponzi qualifiers for this and qualifiers for that, international games. How do fans truly believe Kane and Son are going to play every God-given minute of football? I can't get it. I can't understand it.
Well, they're not going to. And the problem's going to be is sometimes you're going to play them when they're not 100% fit. And then people will sit there and say, cool, Sonny's off form today. Look at Harry. He's not doing very well today. They've probably got injections in them trying to get them playing. I mean, it's silly to do that. And, not wishing it. We don't want anybody to get injured, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. It's natural. It happens in every club. You've got to have, and it's no good, no disrespect to someone like Danny Ings. It's no point having someone like him as the other striker, I don't think, because they're not top class.
But again, so again, we're carrying this conversation with David Clark, who's shouting. I like this. He's shouting at me. You can't become their status in 5 minutes. It takes years. I don't think anyone said about being on their status, but we're in the Champions League. You cannot go into the Champions League with 11 players, David. No offense. You look old and experienced enough to know that. Yeah. At the end of the day, Kane and Son must know they can't play every God-given game every single week. They can't play Saturday, Champions League, Saturday, international. Liverpool rotate their forwards, Man City rotate their forwards, Chelsea, who just haven't won anything, but still rotate all of their players all the time.
And they're quite successful, those teams.
Right, and they are. So for me, I think it needs to be a case of our fans are so like that, Graham. This is our front three. No one else can ever play. Top teams don't do that. And at the moment, unfortunately for me, is there an issue with the mentality of this fan base? Now, I know that's a difficult question to answer. I know you'll be more diplomatic than I will because I don't care. If we go back to, I was saying this to you, Graham, in the 2016, 2017, those years under Poch. Everyone was saying this kind of crap that Dave's saying now. I'm not saying David said this, but who's going to sit on a bench behind Ali? Who's going to sit on a bench behind Ericsson? Who's going to sit on a bench behind Vertonghen and Alderweireld and Walker and Rose? And what happened? We burnt out.
But can I say about Dele Alli, for example, he looks to me when I watch him play as though he's had quite a few years of being flogged into the ground.
Does.
I mean, Poch did that. He didn't really want anybody else. I'm pretty convinced of that. He might say he did, but I don't think he did. He was quite happy to have that little group around him and not have to change anybody. And Dele now, it looks like his legs have gone completely, and it's got to come back from overplaying. They all moan. I mean, Son moaned a bit when he came off towards the end of the season. They'll all moan, but Conte knows best. He's the man who knows best. He will chop and change it when he wants to, when he feels it's necessary. I back him on that. I mean, he knows better than us, doesn't he?
But let's carry on from that then. That team, the 11 that Spurs had, that was probably the best 11 in the league. Why didn't it win anything? Why didn't it get over the line?
Well, I don't want to go down the Pochettino ride again. I don't know. I mean, it just couldn't seem to sort of do it, really, could they? They just didn't seem to.
I mean, for me,
something to do with Pochettino's drive.
No, I'm not talking about Pochettino. I don't want to go down that route. What I'm saying is, we got to sort of February, and it looked like all the players looked shattered, and it was the same 11 playing week in, week out. Now, I watch Liverpool play, and sometimes they'll have Diaz, Jota, Firmino. Then you've got Mane, Salah, and Jota. Then you've got. I can't understand how our fans can't get through to this. This isn't an 11.
I think they will work very hard in training as well. I think Conte does that as well. I mean, if you were on a day like this, you wouldn't be flogging them into the ground, would you? But we've just got to be careful. We don't want to lose good players early on, and then the season becomes completely, goes a bit sort of,
And I think this is a good point. So PB and Jam said, in the 18-19 season, we got very lucky lucky to reach the Champions League without a squad. Now, what I would say with that, first of all, I do think it was a very lucky run. But aside from that, what was happening to our league form whilst the Champions League was going ahead? We were awful. From January onwards through to about November, it was awful. And people, again, the people that back up Poch, I don't want to go into a Poch debate, but the people that will back up Poch and say, oh, Poch wasn't giving any new players, are the same people now saying, well, why would players join to sit on a bench? It doesn't make any sense. We've got to make it make sense. So, Graham, for you, how many forward players do you think a squad needs? They don't have to be strikers, but if we're saying Kane, Son and Kulusevski, How many more do you need to be able to rotate successfully across 4 competitions?
Well, I like covering all positions. I think you can never have enough. You can never have enough forwards. At the end of the day, they're the ones who win you the games with the goals. I know the defenders are there to stop them the other end, but at the end, you need goal scorers. You need people fresh as well. You need people who are going to come off the bench, come onto the pitch with 15 minutes to go and make a difference.
Yeah. So let me ask. So we've had a question come in. I'm just quickly checking my subscribers because I'm so close to the 1,000. I'm 3 away. I'm 3 away. And if any of you in the stream, there are 131 of you in there. If anyone hasn't hit the subscribe button, please do. Graham, Rovers 618 has said, can Parrott or Scarlett play while Kane rests?
No.
Why?
Not good enough.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right.
Not good enough. No disrespect to them. Scarlett in 3 or 4 years' time might be decent, but you can't put him on now. And Parrott, big question mark next to him for me. Big question mark.
So Jason Margetson has said it's not just us fans. Players think that as well. Probably why Jesus would rather go to Arsenal. Well, first and foremost, we don't know if Spurs have even inquired about Jesus. Second of all, where I'm going to rip this argument apart is, if it's not just us, if it's players as well, why did Grealish go Man City? Why has Alvarez gone Man City? Why did Mahrez go Man City? Why is probably Calvin Phillips going to go Man City? Why is Cucurella going to go to Man City? Right? Why did Stones, Ake, or why do they all go to Man City if this is not us just fans, it's the players as well? Why has Diaz gone to Liverpool? Why has Núñez gone to Liverpool? Why did Jota sign for Liverpool? Why did Thiago go? Right, you get my point.
They want to play for a top club.
Right, they want to play for top clubs, but they want to go to clubs with ambition. Now, if Spurs were to turn around now and go, right, our 4 forwards for the year are Martinez, Kulusevski, Son, Kane, and Perisic can join in there to make it a 5. And then you've got 4 centre mids of Bentancur, Højbjerg, Bissouma and an Eriksen. All of a sudden now, how does that look, Graham? How tasty does that look?
Well, it gives the manager lots of options, doesn't it?
Right.
You can do lots of things with that little group. We did so well to get 4th last year. With a very tight squad, very small squad, lacking in certain areas. To get 4th place was power to Conte. Really, he got a lot out of him. Got a lot out of him to get 4th.
Yeah. So I think we're seeing a lot of people now saying that squad burnt out a few years ago because there quite simply wasn't a squad.
No.
And what I think we noticed off the back of that was, if you look at it, Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld's legs looked shot to pieces. Dembele looked shot to pieces. Yeah. Rose fell off a cliff. Walker had already left by this point, gone to Man City. Eriksen looked shot to pieces at the end. Dele Alli looked shot to pieces. And again, this goes to show, if you run players into the ground and do not have squad options, that's going to happen. And I thought we were going to act like a big club. I'm not saying we're not. Before anyone says the window isn't shut, I'm not saying we're not. But I feel like the ambitions of Conte are more ambitious than that of the fans. Is that harsh?
No, not at all. No, I think Conte's got a great record, hasn't he? He's gone there. He wants to succeed. He doesn't want to be in the Europa League. He wants to be in the Champions League challenging. You don't want to go in there and make the numbers up. Same with the league. He's looking next season to topple those 2 at the top. He won't be looking just to edge in 4th place again, because it's a personal thing, isn't it? You've got Klopp, you've got Pep, you've got him. They're big cheeses, aren't they? And he wants to get. That's why he wants the players now. All this stupid last day of the transfer window as well. He's getting them in now so he can gel them together, ready for the season to start.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? This is the thing. I think, like Jason Margetson, I agree with this one. And just to show, right, there are things that I agree with people and things that I don't agree with them on, right? It's what football's all about. Man City, nearly every player scores. So I think Spurs have been Son and Kane for so long, but Man City don't have a 30-goal a season, man. They have 7 or 8 of them that all get 8 goals. And I think that's where you've got to be.
The problem is when you've got a 30-goal striker and he's injured for a period of time, you're left with nothing.
Right.
Whereas Man City, if Mahrez is injured for a while, they've got so many other players there who can just drop in there. He's got it right, Pep, isn't he? I mean, they wouldn't be where they are.
Of course he is.
He's got it right.
And JK47 has said, it's so annoying seeing comments from fans saying Martinez won't play or Anthony won't play. We'll talk about Anthony from Ajax in a minute.
Yeah.
We could have like 60 games next season. They really confuse me. I think this is it. So the other day when someone said to me, oh, look at Liverpool. And I brought up and I said, well, look how many Mane's played. Mane, Salah, Jota, Firmino, Diaz. The number of games they all played last season was phenomenal.
You'd rather than play 30, 35 games really, really well than play 60 games and with a lot of them not playing very well because they're tired.
Sometimes I love you, Graham. Just sometimes. 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 Luana said, well, Liverpool have Salah, Mane for now, Diaz, Jota, Firmino, Nunez, Minamino. They had Origi as well. It's an abundance of options. And the next question for me, Graham, that I'm going to ask to you. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Adam Solza said, Soldado, Janssen, Llorente, Vinicius. I mean, come on. Had their odd moments and some tried hard, but we were never the answer. Yeah, for sure. Someone has said, Savva gets battered everywhere he go, everywhere he go. Well, what a lovely little song that is. Don't know what that means. Graham, here's my next question to you. That's completely thrown me. I have no idea what that meant. Here's my next thing to you, right? So Man City, for example, now that we're hearing that they're in talks for Cucurella and they're in talks for Calvin Phillips. Now, again, I'm going to caveat, no one knows, but let's assume it's true, Graham. I don't hear any Man City fans. I'm sure no Man City fan is going, but where do they play? How do they fit into the squad?
They're signing people at the right time. When you're at the very top, you only stay at the very top because you keep improving the players, improving the squad. If Pep sat there, and bear in mind we did this about 3 windows without doing anything, then you'd see them. Liverpool start picking them off a bit more easily. But the time to improve is when you're right at the very top. That's the time. Like, he's looked at the left backs, and when we know how good they are, but obviously he thinks this guy is something special.
Yeah,
I think ex-Barcelona, wasn't he? Cucurella, I think, wasn't he?
Cucurella, yeah, he's from La Masia, yeah.
Well, he's going to be. I mean, anybody's come out of there has got to be decent, haven't they? Mm-hmm. He's a good player. And Phillips, strong, hard man in the middle. Rodri gets injured. There he goes. He just slots in. They just move people on. David Silva went, didn't he? And they're just tinkering people in. Grealish has come in. Yeah, it's called good management and cleverness. Yeah,
Aguero's gone. Jesus will go. Who is it? Leroy Sané?
Yeah.
He went. Torres.
It's natural wastage after a while, isn't it? It's natural wastage. Like Jesus now, how many years has he been there? 5, 6 years probably, is he?
Spurs said, Graham speaks so much sense.
Yeah, well,
it's age.
It is, but look, I'm not daft. It's a game of opinions. Who's that player we said at Spurs I wanted to sign once? You laughed at me.
Oh God, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, don't even mention his
name. I'm not going to say his name.
Striker, Akinbaye.
Adi Akinbaye.
At the time, I thought he might have been an asset, and I've been quoted ever since by this person next to me. Everybody's allowed a muck up.
I don't get them wrong, Graham. I don't get them wrong.
No, I know you don't. I read all this stuff. You're always right, mate.
Right. Guys, I'm going to say this right now. We are on 998 subscribers. Who is going to go in and subscribe for me to get me to the 1,000? Let's have a look, Graham. What have we got going on down here? I saw a few questions. Alex THFC has asked me if I've seen the new Drake album. I heard the new Drake album. I don't know. I don't listen to Drake, I'm afraid. Not my type of artist. I'm sure Graham definitely doesn't. Let's talk about this guy. So I don't know if you know too much about him. Let me know. Anthony. Again, we've been linked with everyone across Europe.
Yeah.
Anthony, right-sided forward, can play across the line. What I've seen of him, I like. Have you seen a lot of him?
I haven't seen a lot of him, but I've heard his name mentioned a lot. I can't watch every game in Europe. It's hard. I never do anything else in life. But no, I've heard he's very, very good. I know people say, well, it's only the Dutch league. I think Harry Redknapp said once about Luis Suarez, didn't he? He said he can't be any good. The Dutch league's not a very strong league, and all this old nonsense.
And we've just made it to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. I'm really happy. I set myself a target of 3 months. We've done it in 7 weeks. So first of all, thank you to everyone. Yeah. And I hope that even those that hate me, you can appreciate that I'm just honest. I don't try and blow smoke up anyone's arse. I don't come out with outrageous opinions about winning titles and stuff. I'm just honest. And, I try to get experienced people on who know the game. So as you were, Graham, you don't watch a lot of him, but what you've seen of him.
Yeah, I heard he's very good. I mean, I don't know how many more that if Martinez comes in, I would start looking for some really good up and coming player as well as an extra striker. Because I don't think Parrott's up to it yet. Certainly don't think Scarlett's up to it. We need somebody around Europe somewhere, perhaps about 21, 22, who's really burning it up. Yeah. There must be 1 or 2 Brazilian players. I've heard them Barcelona linked with a few, but that's what you need. Somebody as your sort of 5th option who's really talented but not quite ready for the big time yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so look, tell me in the comments, Anthony, what have you guys seen him? Would you like him? For me, whenever I've watched him play, he just looks lively. For me, he looks industrious, Graham. I like a player that, again, not to be harsh, but when I watch Lucas, when I watch Bergwijn, I just feel like there's not really anything ever going to come from what they're doing.
The trouble with those two is the ball's never at their feet, is it? Yeah, this is the problem. If I go and watch a game, I'm looking for players who don't give the ball away easily. That's what I'm looking for, because when that ball comes to you in the thick of the action, if your touch is not very good, you're going to get hunted down straight away. You need a good touch, switch the play, and you're out. If you're trying to get it under control for 5 minutes, you're going to get nailed. So that's my thoughts on that one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's have a look. So, Full Ball said, Savva, when are you going to bring Alex on your channel? Need to question him on Skip making Højbjerg look good. Look, Alex has my number. We talk. He is always welcome on my channel. Look, Alex and I don't see eye to eye with a lot of opinions, but do you know what? It's never malicious between us. He's a good guy. He's passionate about the club. I'm passionate about the club. I am going to call you out, Alex, though. To say that Skip made Højbjerg look good just made me laugh. I think, if anything, it's the other way around. I think Højbjerg is so disrespected. Graham, talk to me about this. So we're having a conversation the other day online, and Alex, again, loads of time for Alex, turned around and said to me, basically not rating Højbjerg, and Skip makes him look good. So 2 questions from me. 1, how good is Oliver Skip? Because so many fans, for me, are just getting so overhyped about a player that needs time. And 2, how did he make Højbjerg look good, or did he?
I watched Skip when he was about 17, 18. I did say to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said, I've seen a player today in the youth team who looks very good on the ball.
Yep.
I don't want to disrespect him, really. I mean, he's ideal in the squad. He would never be in your starting lineup. Højbjerg is a good team player, a very good team player, but not outstanding individually. Yeah. But you need, in any good side, if you've got your top class players, you need 1 or 2 what I call nuts and bolts players. And I think he's a nuts and bolts player. You don't notice him a great deal. He breaks down attacks. He's playing quite an important role there in front of the back 4, where he's protecting the back 4, which is because the one thing central defenders don't like is people running at you from deep positions. They panic. They don't want that at all. So he's in there to stop that. So I think he does a lot of work that a lot of people probably don't notice. I think he's been, he's done very well. I don't understand the Skip bit as well. I mean,
okay. So let me ask you then, Højbjerg. That's something you've taught me for the last 25 years or whatever it is I've known you, right? You taught me that when we were doing the coaching badges. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need nuts and bolts players.
Absolutely.
Right. Everyone can't be Lionel Messi. Everyone can't be your Kane, your son. But for me, I looked at it like this. Jose, Nuno, Mason, got to put Mason in there, and Conte.
Yeah.
The one centre mid that all of them played religiously is who?
Højbjerg.
Right. So that tells me his mentality, the way he trains. It tells me that he's a top pro. Yeah. Not just a good footballer, but a good pro around the club. Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I goes without saying, really. I think you'd know the time to look at a player is, if he wasn't playing, would you notice it? I think we would probably do that. We would probably notice it if he wasn't playing. He's not a Luka Modric. You don't expect him to be. He's not going to dribble up the field, beat 3 or 4 players and smash it in.
Yeah.
He's a player that does a job within the side that allows the better players to play their game. And that's important. You've got to have that in every team.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the England World Cup side of 66. Nobby Stiles. Now, if you looked at Nobby Stiles as a player, I mean, he was a nuts and bolts player, but he allowed the Bobby Charltons, the Martin Peters to do their bit. Unsung hero. You ask the other players what they thought of Nobby Stiles.
Yeah.
And I think the Spurs players would say the same about Højbjerg. He does a lot of good work unnoticed.
Similar to what all the strikers who played with Emil Heskey said. You know, because a lot of the problem with Emil Heskey was he didn't score loads of goals, but every England manager picked him because of the work rate that allowed Michael Owen at the time.
Do you remember that chap we sat next to at Spurs? He said, Heskey's the answer. What is the question?
Yeah, I remember that.
He used to say every game, non-stop throughout the 90 minutes.
I remember he used to say it about Sir Leslie Ferdinand as well,
he didn't like him either. I thought he was an excellent player.
This guy, I remember, we were watching, I think it was a North London derby, or we were playing someone, and all game I was giving Gus Poyet stick.
Oh,
he was awful. He was awful that game. Not as a player. I loved him as a player, but it was just awful. And then Poyet scored in like the last minute or something. This guy turned around to me and he went, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about."
Well, he shook his fist at us. I must admit, I let myself down.
Yeah.
Looking back after, then we got there the next game. I don't think you came. I took a friend of mine instead.
Yeah.
And I was a bit worried. And the guy didn't turn up. And
he was worried about you.
Yeah, his friend said, "No, you upset him at the last game."
Oh,
he said he's not coming anymore. And I thought, oh my goodness me.
Imagine being upset. Okay, so Graham, just quickly, let's veer away from that. I like to get people involved. Good. Jeff Ives, welcome, Jeff, has said, what about that young kid at Blackburn, the English-born Chilean? So I think he's referring to Ben
Brereton Diaz.
Brereton Diaz. You go on. You go. I'll go afterwards.
Well, again, I'm not. I've seen him on match, in sort of games for Blackburn because I had to watch as much Championship and football as I can. He's big and strong, scores goals. I think when he first went there, he didn't do much at all. This has really come out the blue this season where he got loads of goals. I think before that he didn't do much at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He wouldn't be on my list, to be honest. He wouldn't be on my list.
I quite like what I saw of Ben Brereton Diaz.
Yeah,
I think him going to the African Cup of Nations. Sorry, did he go to the African?
Is he Chilean? Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
South
he went.
American, isn't he?
Yeah. So him going to that tournament, I think, almost ruined Blackburn's chances of going up.
Yeah.
Because they then sort of went on a real nosedive towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Look, I like what I've seen of Ben Brereton, but
Yeah.
again, what I'll talk about. Again, we're going to talk about this in a minute, Graham. When we talk about mentality and ambition, that for me isn't Tottenham. That should be if I was Norwich getting promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was Watford getting promoted or Bournemouth who have come up, that's the sort of striker I think.
I'd be the same.
Yeah, but not Tottenham Hotspur for me. Sorry, I want better than that, and I'm not going to apologise for wanting better.
I'm not sure there's anybody in the Championship would fit that bill. I mean, obviously, Brandon Johnson's a wide player, isn't he?
Well, he's in the Premier League now, isn't he?
Yeah, good player.
So, again, Kane Legg, look, I mean, I said Skip is bang average. I mean, look, from my point of view, what I've always said about Skip is I think he's a decent player. I don't go overboard like people who chuck all these superlatives. Great word that is, by the way. Skip, for me, okay, decent passer of the ball, works really hard. Is he great? No, he's not. Is he young? Yes, he is. We just seem to want to elevate players, Graham. He must have had 20 games in the first team last season, and now people are going, get Skippy in the midfield.
He's neat and tidy on the ball, but I'll say this. Does he affect the game?
Right. That's the thing.
Now, I think that's important. You look through our team, and most of them affect the game, don't they? But with Skippy, an ideal bloke on the bench, I think. He's ideal for the bench. He'll come on the last 15, 20 minutes. He'll work his socks off. And you need, as I said before, you need people to do that. He hasn't got the class on the ball. I can't see him opening up defences with lovely passes through for. But obviously, Conte must like him, Yeah,
I do think Alex doesn't particularly like Paratici. I think he calls him I don't know. He calls him something funny, but I don't know. Alex, if you're watching, jump on, bro. If you want to jump on, you can jump on.
When you look at Paratici at the moment, Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur, The 3 we've just signed, that's not bad, is it? I mean, I'm beginning to warm to him, to be honest. I think he's brought in some good players recently. Like last summer, we don't know when he brought in Gill and all that. We don't know the full story of it.
Absolutely,
he was just looking around for scrapings of the barrel, I think. Then,
but this is what I said, Graham. Paratici for me, people are going, how good is he? I'm like 50-50. I've seen him bring in some brilliant players. I've seen him bring in some absolute dross. Let's see in a couple of years' time, where are we? At the end of, what we have a tendency to do is go, oh, this one window was good or that one window was bad. Last window I thought was dreadful. Last summer I thought was dreadful. Romero saved his bacon. This window so far looks promising. Looks very good.
Oh, yeah.
But let's wait until the squad is his. Yeah? Let's wait until we get 2-3 windows down the line, 10, 15 players have come in and we go, okay, overall, what a great squad we've built.
See, we don't know how good Hitchens was, do we? We don't know whether he was being held back by Levy. We just don't know the full story.
No, that's absolutely true. Okay, so let's talk about Kulusevski.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Kulusevski. Kulusevski for me has had a wonderful start to his Tottenham career, and again, fans get way overhyped. I think he's a very good player. He's got some really good stats already. For me, all I've said, as always, Graham, I like to keep my feet on the ground. Let's see if he can kick on from that next season. Let's see if we get that air of consistency from him, because there's a difference between coming in and making an impact and doing it over a 50, 60 game season. But I'm excited for this lad. I think he's a proper footballer. Ball killed dead at his feet, always in control of it. What do you make of Kulusevski?
Well, that's the difference, isn't it, to what I said earlier on about Moura and Bergwijn.
Yeah.
The ball's never at their feet. They're stumbling along with it, Whereas when the ball goes to him, he's killed it, stone dead, and then he can do the second thing. He can move the ball inside the player. He doesn't give the marker time to make an impact on him because his first touch is so good. Remember Ginola playing, that first touch, always go, your first touch should take you away from the guy who's marking you. Your first touch doesn't go straight into the bloke who's marking you because he's going to nick it off you.
Yeah.
And if you watch Kulusevski, you can just about say his name now, Kulusevski, his first touch is excellent. And what I like about him, he cuts inside as a go at the goal. He drives. He'll score you so many goals as well. You see, Lucas had that spell, didn't he? Had that one season, he got 15, I think. But and Bergwijn, they're just not good enough.
Let's just quickly say, so Scott M, tell me what you think about this. I think this is really harsh. I do.
Cool.
This coming from me. He said, they don't all have to be Messi, but they need some technical ability, and Højbjerg has none. Needs to be upgraded, and it would be easy to upgrade him. For me, I think to say he's got no technical ability.
Don't agree with that.
I mean, I think that's really harsh.
It is harsh.
I think he's been our best midfielder for 2 years.
You've got to have people to do that job. Yeah. Not everybody can be, you've got to, I mean, is his first touch that bad? I don't think it is. You wouldn't get away with it. You wouldn't get away with it over a period of time. He wouldn't be picked. He wouldn't be selected. He'd be moved on. You've got to be able to control the ball.
Okay, perfect. So apparently Mane to Munich's been confirmed. I think we all knew that was coming. I think already when we said they bought their replacement, they'd already bought the replacement for Mane in January with Diaz for me, the left side. Sean said, Graham, who's your favourite Spurs player of all time? Don't answer.
No, I won't tell you that.
We've got that coming up. So don't worry, Sean. That is going to be answered.
It's not John Pratt.
It depends how old people are, whether they're going to know that reference,
John
Graham.
Pratt, will they?
Right.
Great name.
Well, you could have said, it's not Jose Dominguez or something.
Yeah, it's not him.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, Copper America is what I meant to say, not African Cup of Nations. Apologies. Let's have a look. So, Graham, I want to talk to you now about our window so far, right? It's been good so far. Yeah. It's been good. I mean, Fraser Forster was a sensible signing. I think that's what we can say about it. Any concerns if Forster has to start a game for us?
No, good keeper.
Yeah,
good keeper. Big strongman as well. You imagine running through 1-on-1 and having him come at you. I mean, God dear, he's a big lad. No, he's got oceans of behind him as he's played a load of games. I mean, look at the bloke we got, Galini. I mean, where did they dig him out from?
No idea.
Apparently, he was good around the training ground. Well, I'm glad that, because he made the coffee, I don't know. But, no, I mean, Fraser Forster's a top-class keeper.
Yeah.
Because again, if Hugo gets injured early doors, he's in.
Yeah.
He's in the first team.
He's the man.
I think he's a good signing.
Again, so this for me is where it becomes knee-jerk. Paratici is one of the best directors of football we've had. He's up there with Paul Mitchell. Again, I don't feel you can base that on him being here for less than a year. I don't feel like we can say things like that. And again, I think people want to sensationalise. Jury's still out on Fabio Paratici. Look, a long way to go. A long way to go. Yeah. Seconds out of 98 again. I said 25 million plus Lamella. 25 million plus Lamella for Gil is scandalous. Look, the Papasar signing, Galini, Hill, Emerson Royale, won't even get into him. Some terrible signings. Okay, so we talked about Forster as a signing. Perisic as a signing. Where does that rate for you as in signings?
Very, very good. I mean, he's again played top level, got a good goal scoring record as well, top class player.
Yep.
And that's the important thing now. We're playing in the big league now, aren't we? Champions League, we're in the big league now, top four. We don't want to be signing people who are not good at all, do we? Excellent Perisic. He'll slot in nicely. The crowd will love him. I loved it when he walked out on the pitch. He was trying to ring his grandmother up, wasn't he, and show her the ground.
Yeah.
Look, that ground, not only Conte is a big draw. Conte is a big draw, number one draw. If you walk in that stadium, no disrespect to all the other grounds, you're going to go, wow, I want some of this. And I'm sure Basuma, having played for Brighton there last year, and again, no disrespect to Brighton, it's a great little club.
Yeah.
But he must look at it and think, cool, I want to be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big draw.
Before we go on to Basuma, talk about him. A question from XV11, which probably is a number which I should know in Roman numerals or whatever. But question for Graham. I've heard older people.
I've heard them as well.
Older people. I think it's referring to you.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm wearing a white hat. I'm not grey.
Yeah. Question to Graham. I've heard older people compare Kulusevski to Waddle. Is there any truth in that?
Not in the same class.
I agree. I saw both.
Waddle was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
When you think he was working in a sausage factory, it's a great story, isn't it, really? He was a wonderful player, Waddle. I mean, he might be in the future, but at the moment, no, you can't compare the two. Waddle was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
Anyone that got to see Waddle play, and I got to see Waddle play, he was in my era.
Yeah.
I'm that age. He was just different gravy. One of those, Graham, that I say made football look easy.
Again,
right?
Fantastic close control.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. And could run from deep positions. You imagine, you're a fullback and you've got him. He's a big lad as well, Waddle. He wasn't a little one, was he?
Yeah.
He was a big lad. He's running at you from a distance and you've got no cover.
Let's caveat that by saying, look, Kulusevski's 21.
Yeah,
right?
clear time.
So, but again, it's these comparisons. It's hard, because
I don't like comparing players. Now, to be honest,
I'll tell you what I'm not going to tell you Graham's top 10 players of all time. We're going to get to that later. But just so you know, when he wrote this list out just now, I walked over to you, didn't I? And I said, "You've left off Chris Waddle," and he went, "Oh." Now that tells you
so many,
but that tells you how many good players Graham has in his top 10 of all time.
One I did write down, he won't be in the top, was Tony Galvin.
Yeah.
Another, again, a winger who could run with it, take people on. Mm. And we met him one night there, didn't we? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I stopped Tony Galvin and just said hello to him. I couldn't get rid of him. He went on and on and on. You were making faces at me from the side.
I know. I was like, come on.
Terrific bloke, Tony Galvin, but another fantastic player, Tony Galvin.
Yeah, okay. And what I'm going to do is, when I do get to that section, I'm going to read out the players on the list that Graham has written down, but that didn't make the top 10. And it's going to make some of you younger fans go,
they will, yeah.
You don't know ball, you don't know football. But I'm looking forward to getting to that bit.
I'll explain each one. Yeah.
Right, loads of comments. So let me try and get to some comments, Graham, just for a few minutes. I'm not even going to read out that name. It's a really long one. PHE was top 3 midfielders in the Premier League last year. Jason has said others chase the ball, Kulu runs with it. Darth Vapor, I love that name.
Yeah.
Højbjerg does the dirty job well. You can't have flair in every position.
Spot on, that's an excellent.
Bang on. I feel like we've got no flair anywhere, to be honest. But a ditcher, hello brother, is shouting at me. He's saying, Savva, why do Spurs fans get gassed up on directors of football, players, etc., after some good days, months? Look, a ditcher, I hear you. I think for me, I like to keep my feet on the floor. And I think too many times we want to call player, again, you know how difficult it is for me to call a player world class, because I feel like we judge everyone so quickly. I feel like somebody has a good season and we go world class. Somebody has 3 good games and we go, oh, there's a player in there. Seen it with Royal and Sessegnon.
Yeah.
Seen enough of them over the years for various clubs that I don't rate them, but other fans see them play a couple of good games and it's player in there. That's the nature of football, mate. I think some of us are like that, some of us are not, each to their own. Rovers 618 has said sell Kane to Chelsea and buy Martinez and Osman. No. I don't know why anyone would want to sell Harry Kane.
To strengthen the opposition up.
Yeah. Jason Margetson has said Gaza. I mean, Gaza, I won't.
We're not telling them.
I'm not going to tell you if he's in the top 10 of Graham's list. He would be in mine. I don't know if he's made Graham's list.
Is he in Graham's list?
Is he? Remember that diving header versus Everton, Graham? Which player was that? We could have been talking. Was that Waddle? Who scored a good diving header against Everton?
I'm trying to remember now.
Let us know, Stephen.
Yeah,
There's so many comments.
I'm getting old now. I can't remember everything.
Dave Raybold, who's got my favourite little picture. I love that little picture, Dave. It's a lovely photo of you, that is. Well done on the 1K. Thank you very much. I appreciate it to all of you. Scott Hyman, Kulusevski is going to be huge. He's going to be huge at Spurs and only 22. If he cuts in from the left, then you are FUCK'd. Stuart Austin has said with Paratici it's 50-50 at the moment. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Scott Hyman has said Klinsmann. If we're talking about, I mean,
they're trying to drag that out.
They're trying to drag. We'll get there.
Revealing at the moment.
We'll get there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Spartan 7 Gaming has said, question: who would be your realistic replacement for Hugo when the time comes? Are you big on your goalkeepers?
I used to smash them past them a few times. No, I didn't really. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about that one.
For me,
goalkeepers, the older they get, the better they get normally. So, you're not looking at a 21-year-old. You want someone about 27, 28 who's doing well at another club at the moment. He's not going to go on forever, Lloris. I think Forster will play a reasonable amount of games this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because I don't know about you, Graham. Look, I'll get slaughtered for this, but I think when I look at footballers now across the world compared to when I was growing up, and certainly maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago, I don't think there is the depth of quality there used to be.
In goalkeepers?
In strikers, in centre-halves. Right. I don't think they're in playmakers. I feel now there's a lot of athletes, but I don't feel there's that plethora of, if on the other day on our WhatsApp group, when we were talking, do you remember Dylan and I, if you're watching Dylan, hello, we're talking about strikers from that Italian era. And there was 40 strikers that played in that Italian league that we went, wow. Now, when you talk about strikers, you've got 5 and you go, who else? Here you go. Waddle and Hoddle. That takes me back, mate. Listen, class players. Players that were truly class as opposed to players nowadays that fans call ballers. Where are we? We've got so many comments. Thank you very much to everyone. Didn't Chris Waddle hit the woodwork twice in the 1990 World Cup semi-final?
Yes,
great player. I loved Chris Waddle. What a player.
Great sausage maker as well.
It's a great sausage maker. Jason has said Waddle was a great player. Always looked knackered before starting.
He did. Yeah. He had that hangdog look, didn't he? Yeah.
Natasha Taylor said Hoddle and Waddle, the dream team.
It's a doddle, they used to say, didn't they? It's a doddle.
Eddie Reiner said, was Cyril Knowles the best wing? I can't speak today. Was Cyril Knowles the best left wing back we had? That's definitely for this man.
Cyril Knowles is a great player. His brother, Peter Knowles, have you heard of him? His brother, Peter Knowles, played for Wolves. He was a fantastic footballer, midfield player. Tremendous. But Cyril, nice one, Cyril. The song, and it comes from that song, isn't it? Nice one, Cyril. Good player.
Jeff Ives has said Glenn Hoddle said he wouldn't have been able to do the things he did without Steve Perryman.
Well, there you go, the anchor man. You see, you need somebody.
And Steve is going to be on this show in the next couple of weeks. Just so you know, I speak regularly to Steve Perryman. Really nice guy, and he's going to come on and talk to us about Spurs and give us some of his stories. I've interviewed him before. Lovely chap. And for those younger fans who don't know who Steve Perryman is, please get your Google out. This man is a club legend. For what reason? Don't answer that, Graham. You lot in the chat. What record does Steve Perryman hold for Spurs? Klinsmann will be in Graham's top 10, says
no,
Luan.
don't put pressure on me.
Well, it's
You
written.
can't put everybody in.
It's written. Look, I've got the list there. It's written. It's written. I'm looking forward to Graham's history lesson. Well, Graham used to be a teacher.
I was a teacher, so I mean, I didn't like history very much.
Now, this is one I cannot get behind. I'm hoping this is sarcasm, Graham. Pickford to replace Lloris. Not for me. I can't stand him.
He makes some good saves.
Yeah.
He's a shot saver. But to me, in stature, he hasn't quite got the stature to command the penalty area.
Yeah.
I mean, big old Pat Jennings, when he played, those big old hands used to come out and knock everybody out of the way. I think when it goes in the mixer, it's tough. You've got to be Seaman. I hate to say it, was very good at that.
Yeah,
but
great
I'm not sure the Pickford. I think you could blow him over. And when you look at the forwards in the past, they would have killed him. Yeah. Not being unkind, they would have walloped him and bashed. See, in those days, you could murder somebody literally, and the referee would go play on.
Yeah. Nowadays, keepers are so protected, aren't they?
Can't blow at them.
So, okay, let's move on. What do we think of Nick Pope?
Well, another good keeper, another ex-Charlton Athletic keeper, Nick Pope. Good keeper. He's got for me. If you look at his size and stature, if you're tall, then it's getting the low shots, isn't it? If you're small, it's not getting the high ball. You can't win whatever you do. I mean, Dean Henderson seemed a decent player, the goalkeeper, didn't he?
But we're coming to him.
Yeah,
relax. We're coming to him. Steal the thunder, Graham.
I'm a mind reader.
Jesus, I'm not bringing this guy back on again.
Reader.
Steals my thunder. Soon it's gonna be Graham Talks Spurs. It's gonna be the new. Well, logo.
Bring it on. I think bring it on. I'm quite happy with
that. The great name again, XOGX01. Richarlison or Jesus? I think. Sorry, I should say Jesus.
Yeah.
Richarlison or Jesus, Graham? Go.
Jesus.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I just think his goal scoring record's far better. I just could not bear he's so miserable. I know you shouldn't judge people by the way they look, but oh God, he's a cheat. Richarlison, he's over in the box all the time. I mean, this is from Everton fans tell me this. They'd be glad to see the back of him. I would take Jesus in front of him every time.
Yeah.
I think Jesus is a tremendous. He's put up with a lot there because he's always the sub, isn't he? And Pep leaves him out, and he's done well there really, and he'll get you a goal. Did he get 4 in a game this year? Didn't he? I think.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Jesus for me. Yeah, by far.
So John Murphy has said Jennings, Chivers, England, Hoddle, Perryman. I mean, there's 5 players for you.
Are they in my 10 though? John, is that
good?
John?
Good 5-a-side team. That.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you'd have Jennings in goal. Hoddle would be your playmaker. Perryman and England would do all the hard work.
We've got a country in there, complete country in there playing.
Am I right in saying Mike England was a centre half?
Big centre half.
Yeah, and then Chivers up front.
Blackburn as well, I think. Oh, Chivs, fantastic striker, another 25, Chivers. 30 goal man. Still looks good. I mean, when you look at Chivers now, it's like Jeff Hurst. They're not any different to when they looked.
Great players.
Yeah.
Sorry. Stuart Austin said Steve Perriman's got a good podcast. He has. I listen to it every week.
Wasn't the biggest player either, was he? No. Tremendous on the ball.
And of course, yes, he is our appearance record holder, Steve Perriman. For anyone that doesn't know him, I mean, what a player he was. Won multiple trophies. He's going to come on and tell us some good stories about Keith Birkinshaw, about Hoddle, about Ozzy. Of course, who he's very, very close friends with. So
it was strange with Keith Birkinshaw. I was playing golf one day, and this bloke said, "Can I join in with you?" I said, "Yeah, no problems at all." We were sitting there during the game, and I said to him, "You like football?" "Oh, yes," he said. "I'm a coach." So I said, "Where are you a coach?" He says, "Tottenham." He said, "I'm Keith Birkinshaw's goalkeeping coach, Pat somebody. I can't think of his other name." Yeah, I mean, what's the coincidence of that? And we had a very nice 18 holes, to be honest, chatting away. Then he came and joined Charlton as a goalkeeping coach as well. Very nice bloke. Unfortunately, died now. I said, "Do you live far away?" And he lived in the next road to me. I said, "Is it far away where you live?" And he lived in the next road. But nice chap. I think of his other name, Pat somebody.
Let's move on. Amzo.
Sorry,
no, go for it. Amzo has said Pickford has those Ian Walker vibes. Ian Walker. I mean, listen, Ian Walker wasn't the worst goalkeeper in the world, but wasn't quite at that level. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
He was decent.
Another decent keeper, yeah. It's just Pickford. I think again, it's Pickford himself that people probably against a little bit. He's an idiot. Really.
We have to move forward. I've got a question for you. I love this question, and I always get asked it. So I'm putting this on you, and you are not sitting on the fence. You understand? Yeah.
Try not to.
You are not sitting on the fence.
God, don't.
Charlie Quintana Games has said, Kane or Son. If you could only have one, who you having?
Kane.
Why?
Well, I think over a long period of time, he has kept Spurs going, really. I mean, the Poch years, tremendous. I just think his all-round game is better. His goal scoring is phenomenal. But again, you see, there's been a lot of this Kane-Son stuff that's been going on for so long. And I think, oh, my God, both of them. Mm. But if I had to pick one of them, I would go for Harry Kane without a shadow of a doubt.
Me too. All day, every day. XV11 has said England has pretty much never produced any class keepers apart from like 50 years ago. Okay, this is where I have to step in when I read something that just isn't true. So I'm not 50, and here's the England goalkeepers in my lifetime. I'm going to start with Shilton, but you could probably go back just a few years before. Who was just before Shilton?
You had Shilton and Ray Clements.
Shilton?
Poor old Ray Clements. It was sad, really, because he would have played far more but for Shilton. Then you go back to the great Gordon Banks, of course, who was a fantastic keeper in the World Cup. Tragically had that terrible accident. I think he lost an eye in an accident, didn't he? Seaman was pretty good, wasn't he?
Well, I was going to go
Seaman.
Clements, Shilton.
Yeah, definitely those
weren't 50 years ago. Yeah. Clements, Shilton. I was going to go with, you had Chris Woods.
Yeah.
Good goalkeeper.
Solid keeper, yeah.
Nigel Martin was a very good goalkeeper.
Yes, Leeds,
yeah. David Seaman was a very good goalkeeper. Yeah. Even David James wasn't the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen.
Had a presence as well. I think keepers have got to have a presence in the box. When that ball comes over, that keeper's got to be there. And all the ones we just said, big lads.
Let's have a look. Here we go. Mark Strumpy Cousins has said, if Gary Mabbott is not in Graham's 11, I will be disappointed as he's my hero. We're going to find out. Look, for anyone that's never listen, I'd like to think everyone in this chat has heard of Gary Mabbott, but for any younger fans, Gary Mabbott for me was the consummate professional. Could play, if I'm not wrong, didn't he start his career more as a defensive midfielder?
Yes.
Moved it to centre back.
Yeah.
Won multiple trophies with Spurs.
His brother Kevin played as well.
Great captain. Played through with the diabetes as well. Had injections every game.
Yeah.
Lovely man. I've met him. Lovely guy.
Yeah.
Great player.
All I'll say is I can't have everybody. I mean, I've written 25, 30 names down there.
Graham, we're going to read them out.
Oh,
don't worry. Don't have to apologise to anyone. The 10 you've picked.
I'm going to upset a few here, I think.
The 10 you've picked, I mean, there's some amazing players in that list. Joe Hart was good for 4 or 5 years. I thought Hart was good. And then he kind of he sort of fell off a cliff, didn't he? It was almost like overnight. Joe Hart went from being England's number one and Man City to being really poor.
I think Pep didn't help, did it? Because Pep went in there and moved him out straight away, didn't he?
Mm. Eddie Ryan has said Pat Jennings could pull the ball out of the air with one hand.
He did.
His hands are massive.
We met him up before the game, didn't we? Big bloke. Must be getting on a bit now.
Ozzy Ardeli's virtual hug. Love that. Again, SK, look, I think it goes in cycles. So, sorry, I know you can't read that. SK said, why is there a shortage in strikers nowadays? Look, I think football goes in cycles. So, many moons ago, everything was 4-4-2. Then everything was like a 4-2-3-1. Then it was a 4-3-3. Now, more than ever I can remember, people are playing three at the back. It will change again. Football will evolve as managers evolve, as players evolve. And there's no right or wrong way to play the game. Yeah. But for me, what we're seeing now is a lot more forwards that can kind of drift across the free rather than, like when I looked at that Italian era I was talking about, you had, God, here we go. I'm going to try and go off the top of my head. In the Italian league at the same time, you had George Weah, Vialli, Casaraghi, Del Piero, Baggio, Ravanelli. You had Zvonimir Boban. You had Crespo. You had Shevchenko was probably just after that. You had Jesus Christ, we went for about 40 the other day, and they've all gone. There's loads and loads. Batistuta was there, Fonseca was there, Asprilla was there, all in the league at the same time. Oliver Bierhoff, who remembers Oliver Bierhoff?
Just goes in stages, doesn't it? It just goes.
Zola,
Not bad,
Zola was there, right?
Not bad,
all of them now would be called world class and ballers by the kids.
Ballers,
all of them. Unfortunately, Arsenal are closing on Jesus. Well, look, they need him. They desperately need him. In 5 minutes, we're going to go to your players.
He's what's lacked. I think Arsenal have lacked somebody like him.
Here we go. So here we go. Jason Markinson. This is where we get the Son and Kane debate. Jason Markinson has said Son. Seconds out 98. He said Kane all day long and twice on Sundays. I agree. Charlie has said Kane. Terry Wright has said big up Savva. Yeah, you should put me in the conversation with Son and Kane.
It's a bit like the Messi Ronaldo.
It isn't for me. I don't think Son is anywhere near the footballer Harry Kane is.
I think
if I'm honest.
People are sort of, going towards Son now. I mean, look, he's a tremendous player, Son, but look how many years Kane has been right there every season, our top man. That's why teams like Man City have been after Kane. Now, I don't know who's been after Son. I don't know. People might have been bidding for him, but I think most teams in Europe would take Kane.
Just quickly, is this aimed at me? Shilton and Seaman, clueless. How can you say a comment like that? If that's aimed at me, those two goalkeepers were class. Shilton and Seaman.
Well, who's saying this?
I don't know if that's what you mean. Let me know before I go in. But Shilton and Seaman, class goalkeepers.
Seaman played in that Arsenal side, didn't he? I mean, tremendous Arsenal team.
Quality.
I mean, to say who's clueless?
Shilton and Clements were a fantastic duo.
Exactly.
Basuma is official. Absolutely wonderful news.
Good.
Great player. Really excited for him. Well, here we go. Here's a few more. So many comments, and I'm trying to get through them. The more subscribers I get, the harder it is to run through them all. John Murphy said Coates, Kinnear, Gulzine, Mabbott, Roberts.
Wow.
Again.
Yeah, absolutely. All good players.
Yeah.
They'd all walk into today's team.
Fashion who broke his face. I think you're talking about Gary Mabbott.
Yeah, there was on the other night about that, yeah. Well, he was all elbows, Fashion who, wasn't he?
Charlie said, sorry, Savva, mate, but bye, I'm gone. Basuma is announced. Okay, I don't know why that means you need to go anywhere, but cool. You do what you got to do. Mabbott, Perryman, King, all legends. Yep, I'll have that. Played on even after the elbow from Fashion U. Yeah, nowadays they'd go off. They'd need a month away and yada, yada, yada.
Well, if Fash didn't get you, Vinnie Jones did, didn't he?
If absolutely.
Fash you, Vinnie was there to mock.
But that's why when I look at centre halves now, they're nothing compared to what they used to be. Centre halves used to be strong, powerful. Now, I don't really think there is that in the game, is there? The original Ronaldo would score 50 goals a season in the Prem with one leg. Yeah, the big Ronaldo.
Yeah. He might fall over a few times just with one leg, but
Signori, Batistuta, what a player Gabriel Batistuta was.
It's been a great league over the years, the Italian league, isn't it? Great league. I know, it gets disrespected.
Look at this: Pippo Inzaghi, Chiesa. Yeah, Bierhoff was at Udinese. The Italian league was fairly overrated. Wouldn't cut it today. I'm sorry. When people say things like that, like the Italian league from the 90s, Graham?
I think it would.
Oh, my God. Think?
Well, I know it would, yeah. I mean,
Seedorf.
We always come back to this old Premiership.
It's ridiculous. The Premier League this year was so weak. It was unreal. Really poor league. Right, Graham, let's kill. Kane is the world's best number 9. Okay. Kane is a number 9 and a number 10. Now, Jonathan Smith, this is why I always say when I'm asked about Kane and Son, who would you rather have? That statement right there is why I always pick Harry Kane.
Would it be fair to say that Kane is more consistent? That's the difference.
It was, but
you watch some games where Son doesn't really
doesn't really
do anything. He doesn't get so involved in the game, whereas Kane rarely does.
But my point was with this, Graham, was that Kane plays both positions. He drops deep and plays as the playmaker and as the goal scorer. Heung-min Son is lethal through on goal, but other than that, I don't see him in the game. I don't see that he's the link-up man. I don't see that he can drop deep and control the game the way Harry Kane does. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Savva on Gary Mabbott. That's why he's my hero. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 91. Well, sorry to hear that, Mark. Hope everything is well. 91 being when we last won the FA Cup. Let's go through. Not aimed at me. Good. I was just checking seconds out because I was thinking, what? Son's getting better and better. Liverpool wanted him. Did Liverpool want him? This is the thing. This is another one of those, Graham, where we assume Liverpool wanted him. Is there any, truth behind it? How would we know?
Well, listening to his dad, Roger's son. Is it Roger, his dad?
I don't know.
His father said the other day that he needs to move on and progress to be world class.
Said he needs to prove it at a bigger club.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, what is world class? I mean, we've heard this so many times. What is world class?
Yeah, let's not go down that route.
Where do you draw a line?
Just quickly, Adam McFarlane said Romero will take you out in a heartbeat. Now, Romero might take you out in a heartbeat, but the defenders I grew up with didn't all dive in as rash as Romero does. Now, Romero is a very good defender for me. Lots in his game over the next few years that he needs to get out of it. But again, he's only 23, 24. But he's another one. Everyone wants to say world-class. World-class defenders don't lunge in. World-class defenders nick the ball away from you. They don't lunge in and give away free kicks at the regularity that he does.
At this time in his career, he's not world-class.
Not yet. No, not yet. Time will tell.
Yeah.
But again, we want everyone to be world-class. Let's have a look. Here we go. I love football opinions. Graham Roberts, hard as a rock. Yes, he was.
Came out the non-league.
Barcelona told Piqué he can leave.
Yes, I saw that.
Drogba was big and powerful, touch him and he'd roll on the floor. Unfortunately, that's the sign of the times. Only the English buyers say Premier League is only the best. I mean, look, again, it goes in cycles. My point on this Kane leg was my mate said to me at the beginning of the season, English teams will dominate Europe this year. And how many English teams won a European trophy this year? None. Why? Because the teams they're playing against aren't as bad as we want to make out they are. And the fact that Spurs and Arsenal were in a race for fourth shows you how poor this league was. PK is 35. I'm not sure what that's in response to. Basuma just got announced. Yes, he did indeed. Jesus going to Woolwich. I mean, yeah. Steve has said, imagine that Milan team from 1890 in the Prem now. Maldini, Baresi, Hullet, Rijkaard, Van Basten. Mate, they'd have the league sewn up by January. Proper wow. Just wow.
Oh,
and apparently they wouldn't cut it.
No, it's just nonsense. Isn't it? I mean, I know people entitled to their opinion, but
this person's
just bias, isn't it?
A poor Lazio side won the Italian league in the 90s. It was not great as people make it out to be. Sorry, these are ridiculous opinions. In the 90s, the Italian league was phenomenal. Please stop. It's just really silly. It's really, really silly. Do you think finishing above Arsenal for many years is something to brag about, especially without a trophy? Not a dig, a serious question. I don't think it's anything to brag about. No, I don't think it. Look, Spurs, their best, still couldn't win anything. Arsenal, under Wenger at the end, and even under Arteta, have won trophies. So for me, I don't brag about finishing above Arsenal. What I want to do is I want to brag about winning trophies. I want to brag about challenging for things, not just because we finished above a really poor Arsenal team. Seconds out said people saying AC Milan won't cut it today is like saying Ali would lose to Anthony Joshua. True, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Not bad, Ali.
Right, guys, who in the comments is ready for Graham's best all-time Spurs players? Graham's best all-time Spurs players. Just before we go into that, let's see. Guys, can we get to 100 likes? We're on 78. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes. We are flying with the subscribers now, so thank you very much. That is very much appreciated. As long as we're ready. Stephen Hughes has said, why does everyone have to be world-class?
Yeah.
Surely really good in their position and committed to the cause is more important. Stephen, I agree. This is my problem. When I'm asked, why don't you think Son's world-class? Why don't you think this player's world-class? Well, world-class to me means you produce week in, week out. World-class to me means you do it against the biggest of opposition. World class to me means, especially as a forward, that you're banging 35, 40 goals a year consistently. But everyone wants someone to be world class. Now, again, I'm not going to go down the route of the Son world class debate. But when I look at Heung-min Son over the last 3 years, he got 11 goals in the league, 17 goals in the league, and 23. That's 51 goals across 3 seasons. That's not world class. But fans want it to be. It's not. I mean, Graham, we won't go too deep into this, but a striker getting 23 goals in a league season, is that world class?
It's become an obsession, isn't it, really,
Yeah.
about this? To me, we're lucky. We've had 2 great players up in the forward positions, and it's made a massive difference. I mean, you look at some of the other players who've been in the team, those 2 have been a revelation. So to keep comparing them, I don't see the point in comparing them. I don't see any point in it at all.
Yeah, I agree. Look, at the end of the day, this is why people go, oh, you don't know football because you don't think Son's world class. At the end of the day, I don't think many players are world class. I don't subscribe. I hear friends of mine saying, oh, world class is the best 5 in their position all over the world. No, just because you're one of the best 5 in your just because you're one of the best 5 in your position in the world doesn't mean that you're automatically world class. There could be a complete dearth of talent in that position. Bermondsey, Born and Brett Alf said, Savva, why can't people send super chats yet on your channel? Purely because I only hit 1K today. So what happens is you have to hit 1,000 subscribers. Once you do, you then have to ask YouTube permission to do super chats. KRM Homer said, people's definition of world class are just different. Honestly, of course they are. Of course they are. But my standards for world class are world class. Like world class. Do it year in, year out. Quality numbers if you're a striker. Quality years of defending as a defender. You know, not one good season and you're world class. I agree with Graham. People still compare Messi and Ronaldo. Just appreciate them all day.
Correct.
For me, I have my favourite. Graham has his favourite, who I know out of those 2. But it doesn't mean both aren't phenomenal. Yeah, just because one's your favourite. But what I see a lot on Instagram and stuff is people will have an account, like a Messi an account or a Ronaldo account. And what they can't do is they can't say, oh, Messi's the best without putting down Ronaldo. Or saying Ronaldo's the best without putting down Messi. And I don't understand why you can't just praise one without putting down the other. And unfortunately, here's one. I like Luan, I agree. Son is a world-class finisher, but I don't think he's a world-class player. Spot on. I would go with that. Yeah. Charlie Quinter said, would you say Kane is world-class? Now, again, I'm really hard to please. For me, I think Kane is on the brink of world-class. For me, what I would like to see from a Harry Kane is in one of those massive games we play, semi-finals, finals, even for England, I want to see him get a game, change it, and do something to win that game. And unfortunately for me, on the big occasions, like where Drogba turned up every big occasion, I just think Kane has just fell short. So for me, again, this is just me. I've got a really tough definition of world class. I would say he's just below that because in the big games, when it's all about your legacy and getting over the line, I don't see him do anything. Maybe, is that harsh?
Yeah.
Go on, tell me if I am.
It's drawing the line where that world class stands, isn't it? I personally would say, yes, he has been world class. He is world class for his consistency and for the length of time he's been at the top. And I think a lot of teams, if not all the teams, major teams in Europe, would have taken him. I know they haven't for various reasons, but for me, if you're going to have a world class thing, then I would say he is, and Son's just below it.
Alex Torres said Mbappe is too good. Mbappe already won the World Cup. Has Messi or Ronaldo won it? No. I'm going to tell you my opinion of Mbappe right now. What a fraud of a footballer. What an absolute waste of a career that man is going to have. For me, has got no ambition, has got no desire to go and show the world what he can do on the top stage. Now, yes, he's won a World Cup, however many years ago that was when he was younger. But Graham, he got himself to a position where he was a free transfer, and La Liga and the Premier League are often regarded as the best two leagues in the world. The European champions came calling, and he decided to stay and play in France. What does that tell you about his character?
Well, when he first came on the scene, he looked as though he was going to be a world beater. To me, stalled a little bit over the last few years. He's not in the same class by miles than Messi and Ronaldo. He hasn't done enough. What has he done? I mean, he's turned his back. Well, he's come back to PSG. I don't know what all that was all about. They've obviously given him fantastic money, PSG, to stay there.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed with him sometimes when I see him, I must admit. I think he's got more there than he gives. But no doubt about it. I wouldn't like to mark him.
Oh.
I mean, he's literally... But again...
But for me, Graham, let me jump in and make a debate about this.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not knocking Mbappe's ability, right? For me, the point is he's, 23 now? Somebody tell me, 22, 23, 24?
Yeah.
He's got the chance to go to Real Madrid and dominate world football. He could go to Madrid and do for them what Ronaldo did for them, what Messi did for Barcelona, right? And he's chosen to stay at PSG. Why?
I think he's hiding there, really. He's hiding.
Agreed.
There. He's taken a shed load of money and stayed there. Perhaps he knew Poch was going.
So, Jason Markson has said Bale was world class. Yeah, Bale was world class. Now, Bale was world class because Bale, in massive games, would step up and do it all by himself. The cup final against Barcelona, where Real Madrid, Barcelona, and he got the ball, ran the length for the field, and slotted the ball home. It's moments like that define you as a player. Champions League. How many Champions League finals has he scored in? Do you know what I mean? That big player.
He's had a great career, isn't he?
Fantastic career. To play devil's advocate regarding Kane, could it be fair comment that because we don't have good squad depth, he has to play every match? So by the time he gets to the end of the season, he's been overplayed. Yeah, but I'm sorry. We can't say, oh, well, we get to a final or a semi and, oh, he's been overplayed. You know, they're the games. If you can't get up, if you can't make things happen in those big games, that's when I start talking about world class. Because for me, how many times you seen Messi change a game? Hundreds.
Millions.
How many times you seen Ronaldo change a game? Same. Even Mbappe, you've seen Bale do it. We've seen Drogba do it. You know, you see top players change games. And for me, and again, Harry Kane's my favourite Spurs player before I get hate. For me, I think Spurs with him in and with England, the number of semis and finals he's played in, and I've never, ever really come out of that and gone, Kane ran the show. And that for me is the difference. Sorry if it hurts, but it's the difference.
See, Barcelona and Real Madrid have always been my yardstick, the big clubs at the top. Be interested to see if he'd have gone to either of those. I'm sure he would have done well at either, but we perhaps would have looked at it slightly differently. You may have said probably he is world class. I don't know.
But possibly, but you've got to do it in those games, right?
But he's often done it in not a great Spurs side, has he? You know, that takes a lot of doing sometimes.
This is, again, sorry, whoever this person is, really strange opinions. We're talking about Mbappe here. He's won the World Cup, so you can make an argument that he's achieved more than Messi and Ronaldo. No, you can't. Look at what those two have won. Mbappe's playing in a really poor league, which is probably the 6th strongest in Europe. And even then, his goals, for me, if you're playing in the French league, Mbappe should be scoring 50 league goals, 60 league goals a season. Messi and Ronaldo in their peak years were knocking in 65, 70. You know, he won the World Cup, but come on. That was a wonderful French team that won it.
Messi and Ronaldo, the likes of those two may never be seen again.
I don't think they will be. Honestly, don't.
That's how good those two are.
Again, only 23 and signed such a long contract to PSG. For me, when I saw that news come out, I was really disappointed. I really wanted to see Mbappe go and cement his legacy. Go and play at Madrid. Go and win World Player of the Year because you've scored 40 goals in the Spanish League and won a Champions League. That's what I want to see.
Shows lack of ambition, do you not think?
I completely agree. Now, whenever anyone talks about Mbappe, the first thing they're going to say is, yeah, but it's in the French league. Yeah. And then you get like this. Why would you leave Neymar and Messi? Really? Well, you've got Messi who's right at the end of his career. You've got Neymar who's just there for fun. Another one. At least he went to Barcelona and played, but another one at the peak of his career decided to go and play in the French league. That's why I will never put them as world greats. I'm sorry. And I loved Neymar. You know I did.
Yeah.
But when the moment you move to PSG, forget Messi moving there at the age of 34, 35. But when you move there at that age that Neymar did and stay there at that age that Mbappe is, sorry, for me, you've ruined your legacy. Right. I'm not even going to answer this question about Sol Campbell. Not going to answer that. Right, Graham. Yes, and just quickly, Luan has said, yeah, Messi scored 92 goals in a calendar year.
He's the best player I've ever seen. Full stop.
These two?
Full stop.
Yeah. No, they wouldn't. This person is really... I reckon Messi and Ronaldo would sacrifice 10 trophies for one World Cup. I mean, I'm sure when, you know... Sorry, when someone said my camera is bouncing all over the place. Is it like that? Apologies. Sorry, I didn't know who I was.
I'll take no criticism of those two because they are the best ever.
Alex THFC. Again, Alex has the worst opinions I've ever seen. Honestly, Alex, come on. Because honestly, you know I think your opinions are dreadful. Mbappe is 100% world class. He stood out in the French team, unlike Kane in finals. Have to respect him, Savva. He's undoubtedly world class. If you're undoubtedly world class, why are you playing week in, week out for PSG? Why is he not, Alex? Why has he not made the step to a top league? Why? His personality, money. Go to Madrid, you're still going to get paid 500 grand a week. Sorry. Listen, for me to call someone world class, it's not just about their ability as a player. It has to be their mindset. It has to be them doing it week in, week out in a top league, in a top team. That for me isn't. Sorry. And Alex has followed that up to say, at age 17, he took Monaco to semi-finals, scored against Man City, home and away, Juventus. Right, but he still plays at PSG. So he has like 9 months off the year, apart from Champions League games. Sorry. Thomas said Messi and Ronaldo are Pele level, extra special. Yeah, the rest are, yeah. Alex said Neymar is a world great. He is a treble winner. You can't ruin that legacy. Well, but look, again, but then why at the age of 24, 25, whatever, did he go to PSG? What, Graham, what makes a player of that ilk go to PSG?
I've watched him play a lot. I watched him at Barca when he first went there, tremendous player. When I watch him now, I think going to PSG has not done him any favours. He fiddles, he does all his fancy stuff, but I don't see enough from him now. I think it's a comfort zone, isn't it? He wanted to leave Barcelona. He wanted to be the Ballon d'Or winner. He wanted to get away probably from Messi, they're great friends, because he was sort of, he overshadowed him. Neymar, I just find him he irritates me intensely when I watch him. Bags of ability, plays around with it a bit now, I think.
So again, I'm going to say Mbappe is definitely world class, not Messi Ronaldo level, but his World Cup title can elevate him in the argument. Well, when did he win the World Cup? What World Cup did he win? 2018? Yeah, that was the last World Cup.
Yeah.
Right. So he won the World Cup 4 years ago, and ever since then he's been bumming around in the league for PSG. Let's have a look. I'm going to bring up Mbappe's stats. Now, when I look at what Messi and Ronaldo are doing in the best two leagues in world football, now I'm going to look at what this guy, who, sorry, for me is a complete fraud. Wonderful footballer, but for me, a complete fraud. So if we look at PSG, let's go to Mbappe. Now, Graham, for you, for a world-class player playing in the French league, how many league goals a year should Mbappe be getting?
30.
Right, okay. He's hit over 30 once.
Yeah.
Over 30 once in the French league. I'm sorry. That's not...
No.
That to me doesn't put you in the conversations where you can talk about the Bales, the Messis, the Ronaldos, the Del Pieros, the world greats. Sorry, that's.
I think they've both gone there for an easy time.
Somebody said that's like saying Lewandowski's a fraud, but no, it's not, because the German league is a lot more competitive than the French league. The French league is awful. Again, Mbappe most likely to take over the reins after Ronaldo and Messi retires. Well, no, how can he? He's playing in the French league. What reins is he taking over? right? He's a top goal scorer in the French league for 3 years in a row, right? So he's playing in the French league. I just can't. I do. It does make me laugh.
It didn't help him in the Champions League, did it?
No, it's yeah. Right. So let's move on from him. Let's move on. At the end of the day, if people want to put him in that conversation, then for me, he's got to move to. He's got to go to a proper club.
Correct.
Where Alex, dude, I love you too as well. Listen, I love our banter. He'll go to Madrid at 26 and cement his legacy.
Oh, right.
Okay, if he does, but do it now. Why is he not doing it now? He's 23, is he? Go and do it now. Have 10 years at Madrid. Go and beat Ronaldo's record at Real Madrid.
The danger is that his game will go backwards playing in the French league. It's too easy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's go to Graham's players. So is everyone ready? This is Graham's best 10 players who have played for Spurs. Now, before we do this, right, I'm going to read out a list of players that Graham has written down but did not make his top 10. Talk away amongst you. Did not make his top 10. All right? The first player that didn't make Graham's top 10 was Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah.
One of the best strikers I've ever seen in a Spurs shirt. Didn't make Graham's top 10. Mike England, we talked about him earlier.
Yeah.
Didn't make Graham's top 10. Kyle Walker, arguably the best right back we've ever had. One of.
Yeah.
Didn't make Graham's top 10.
Sorry.
Steve Perryman, with his record number of appearances, didn't make Graham's top 10.
Yeah.
Go on.
Can I just say, that list I've written down, it was so difficult to pick a 10. There's half a dozen, 7 or 8 players there who are equally as good as the bottom few of the top 10, but you can't have everybody, can you?
You can't have everybody.
Klinsmann didn't play that long for us, did he? So, but I can't fit them all in. When you read out the 10 I've picked, you're going to say, I've not put John Pratt in or people like that. I hasten to add.
Now, the next one, I'm not even going to read out because you'll get hate mail. You all know who that is. I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah, I didn't pick him on purpose.
The next one is Ledley King.
Did I not put him in?
No, you didn't put Ledley King in. I think
in.
you've put him as 11.
He's very close. I mean, he's right there, isn't he? He's on a par with the ones I put in.
Yeah.
Can't even pick 10.
Ledley did not make the
Don't
10.
rub it in. Don't rub it in. Great player. I mean, they're all great players.
Another great player who didn't make the 10 is Martin Peters.
Yeah, I know. Breaks my heart.
Martin Peters.
Yeah.
Another one who didn't make the 10. Alan Mullery.
Yeah, good player. I like
Alan Mullery didn't make the 10.
Good player. That great goal he got in that European game.
Tony Galvin.
Yeah.
Didn't make the 10. Didn't make the 10.
Don't rub it in.
Jermaine Defoe. I know you loved Jermaine Defoe, didn't you?
I worked with him at Sharp, but I mean, no, couldn't fit him in.
Couldn't fit him in. Yeah, for me either. Agree. Ozzy Ardiles did not make the 10.
Close. Yeah, again, when you hear my 10, you'll say, well, yeah, I can see why.
World Cup winning.
Yeah, I know.
World Cup winning Ozzy Ardiles.
Like Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage here.
World Cup winning. Didn't make the 10.
Made the 10. I'm not even looking at the comments.
Here we go. Here we go. Going to upset a few here. Gary Mabbott.
Oh, sorry.
Gary Mabbott
Who's
didn't
the person
make the 10.
I'm so sorry.
He didn't make the 10.
I feel sort of terrible about it.
No, listen.
Make the 10, no.
It shows you how many good players we've had.
As good as any of the ones I picked, but you can't remember it.
And this is why, Graham, when I get told all the time by people about you don't know ball and this is the best player who's ever played for us, yada, 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 this is why there's been so many top players that have played for Spurs. Right. I think Tafster one has said Darren Cassidy. Do you mean Darren Caskey? He's not in this list. So Gary Mabbott didn't make it.
Caskey was close.
The next player that didn't make it. The next player who didn't make it.
Go on then, get over
Ricky Villa.
Yeah.
Ricky Villa.
Can't have everybody.
Ricky Villa didn't make it.
If you could have the best 32 in a 10, yeah.
Ricky Villa. Now imagine making 11 from the players we've just named.
I know.
Oh, let me hide that comment.
Don't make me feel guilty.
Sorry. Okay. So, moving on to the next one. Teddy Sheringham Does not make one of my all-time faves.
Yeah.
Well, that was nearly a word.
And me as well.
Didn't make it. Didn't make it. Old Teddy. Old treble winner Teddy. The next player who didn't make it, and this is going to make so many of you cry, and you'll probably get loads of hate. Hong-Min Son doesn't make the list. He does not make the list, and rightly so. Nowhere near one of the best 10 players we've ever had.
Nowhere near.
I was on Instagram the other day, and there was some podcast that's got what am I trying to say? Some account that's got about 10,000 followers for Spurs said, "Who's the best player to ever play for Spurs?" And the number of fans are going, Son. And I thought, they must be 12. Like, I just can't imagine.
It's hard when people are young and they've not seen these.
Yeah,
players.
but even now, you mean Bale? You ever heard of Gareth Bale?
No, I don't know. Something probably happened.
Right. Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the list. Doesn't make the list.
When you see the keeper I've picked, you probably know why.
Clive Allen. 47 goals one
49,
season.
wasn't it?
49.
49, Clive. Nice bloke.
49 goals.
Met him.
49
Nice
goals. Yeah, Jonathan Smith, I think, a view from the South Stand. I'll come on and do my best 11. Absolutely. I'll do my best 11 for sure. How are you, Marlon? Are you well, by the way? We need to do a show together next week. We've not done one for a few weeks. The next player to not make it is Jan Vertonghen. Jan Vertonghen. The next player to not make it is Toby Alderweireld.
Very good player, but
this bloke, who I would have sworn Graham would have put in.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of Graham's favourites.
Yes.
It shows you how
Love
many
him.
good players you've had.
Love him.
Musa Dembele.
Yeah, doesn't he? Yeah.
How good was Musa?
Oh, ball was glued to his feet.
Someone said, Savva, has anyone ever told you you look like the English Arturo Vidal? All you need is a mohawk. I don't know how to take that, but thank you, I guess.
We get on to the ones I picked.
Elias Rotis, calm down. We'll get there. Is Ginola in there? He may be.
Ginola?
The last player that didn't make Graham's top 10 is Chris Waddle. And Graham's already told you how good Chris Waddle
Never
was.
liked his sausages. Sorry.
Right.
Count
So,
that out.
just to confirm, this wasn't a best 11. This wasn't an 11. This wasn't a goalkeeper,
not
right back.
positions, no.
This was just the best 10 players to play for Tottenham. Yeah? Adam, what do you mean? No, these boys are good, but not good enough. Are you just saying like some of the 11 we've said are good, but don't make it?
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Right. Now, this is in no particular order. I will leave the best one till last, yeah? I will leave who you told me is your number one until last.
Yeah, okay.
In no particular order, Graham, and I want you to tell me a little bit about them for those people that wouldn't have seen them. Yeah, I know Jonathan Smith. No Waddle. No,
kind of everybody.
Right. The first player, Graham, we're going to put in, who many people won't know, will be Dave Mackay.
Oh, yeah.
Is in your top 10.
I just thought he was a great leader of men. Tremendous player. Remember him picking Billy Bremner up, he'd be sent off all the time now, but I just thought he was a tremendous leader of a group. I'm sure the older people will all agree with that. Dave Mackay was a fantastic player.
Okay. After that, again, no particular order, Pat Jennings. Talk to us about Big Pat.
Yeah, he'd be my keeper. His hands were huge, but he'd stop the ball with everything. It wasn't just a standard way of stopping the ball with his feet. He was such a big bloke. But if you saw his hands, if you shook hands with him, I reckon you wouldn't be able to move your fingers for a fortnight. They were so big. Now, when you look at Lloris and people like that and compare with Pat, don't forget he played all those games with Northern Ireland, with George Best. I just thought he was fantastic. He would be my number one keeper that I've seen at Spurs.
Just quickly, before I go on, can I ask, just if not for me, but for Graham, giving up his time and giving us some of his knowledge, we've only got 87 likes and there's more than that of you watching. Can you please go and smash the like button if you haven't already? It is very good and it gets the show out there for us and it's free. It's free.
When you've heard all my team, the lights will go up.
Right.
Or go out.
Next player. Again, no particular order. I mean, look, we're touching upon greatness. We're touching upon greatness. Let's talk about the one player who does still play for Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. One of the best 10 players ever to play for the club. Harry Kane.
Yeah, I put Harry in. I just think he's done it over such a long period of time. consistent. I think he saved Spurs bacon on more than one occasion. I've gone with Harry.
But what? Tell him what is it about him? How does he play? What's his?
He's just strong on the ball, isn't he? He scores all sorts of goals as well. Right foot, left foot, headers, clever goals. He's everything, and he's back helping in midfield as well. He's playing almost 2 roles, but he's done it over a long period of time. Yes, I could have gone for Klinsmann, great player, but Harry's this long period of time, and without him, where would we be? Without him over these last how many years he played, where would we be? You know,
I'm just looking to see. Have we lost the French bulldog? Oh, he's down there. So I thought we'd lost the dogs are struggling.
They didn't agree with my team.
Anyone who watches my show knows that I've got 2 dogs and they struggle in this heat. So I was just checking that he wasn't dead, to be honest.
I mean, nobody's seen them play, some of these people, have they? So,
no. That's why a lot of the younger kids won't mention now because they don't know the players. Let's go on to your next player then. Talk to me about this guy.
Yeah.
Luka Modric.
Just brilliant player. I like footballers. I like people who get their foot on the ball and can play a little bit. Not a big guy, not relying on his strength and power. He was very, very good on the ball, was a genius, I thought. And look at him now. You watch Real Madrid now. He's 36.
Yeah.
He's still fantastic. He looks 26 still.
Yeah.
I mean, if Spurs had brought him back for 2 years, I would have gone, great, even now. So to me, he's got to be in there, Luka Modric. I mean,
what does he do that makes him stand out from every other centre mid we've had?
Just fantastically creative, can score goals. He moves with the ball well. He's got every quality that you want as a footballer: good touch, good passing ability, mobile.
Someone in here's called him an artist. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, if you're going to say an art, yeah. I mean, hope nobody here would disagree with having Modric in the best 10, but
I'm sure
look, there is.
Just to mention a few players that didn't even make your shortlist. Yes. When you look at the genius of players like Berbatov, didn't make the shortlist. You can't have them all. I'll mention some more in a minute. And Modric, of course. Let's give he broke the monopoly for 1 year at least of the Ballon d'Or, didn't he? Broke the monopoly. So great midfielder, Luka Modric. The next player, someone that lots of fans probably won't know about. A lot of the older ones will again. Danny Blanchflower.
I've gone for Blanchflower because he was a magnificent player, and I've tried to stretch it over the period, not just gone for everybody in the 1980s onwards. Again, another great defender. No one would have seen him, read the game well. Just a tremendous defender. And there were some hard old centre forwards in those days.
Yeah.
They used to knock you about all over the shop, but he didn't let many get by him. I thought he was a tremendous player, Danny Blanchflower.
And what was he the captain of?
What?
Wasn't he the double winning captain?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think the team.
Come on, Graham, you're meant to know this, not me.
It's not sort of. I mean, again, not many people on here would have heard of him, but I think did his brother die in the Munich crash? I
wasn't thumbsing up to that, by the way. I was thumbsing up to this. Yeah. I don't know about his brother. Sorry.
His brother was killed in the Munich.
Let me just bring him right. So this is where this guy Alex again. I can't stress how much I love you, but your opinions are so bad. He's put if Kane gets in, Son and maybe Bale get in, Vertonghen for my money. But again, you can't. But again, it's everyone from recent and. Fans like if you do your history, Vertonghen was a very good centre back, but nowhere near some of the greats we've had at centre back for my money. Very good player.
But I've spread it over the whole of the time as well. I mean, I've seen all these players play.
And the reason, again, when you say we'll talk at the end why Son doesn't get in, when we mention some of the players we're about to mention, that Son isn't fit to lace their boots. No. The players we've got left, the 5 we've got left, are all either attacking, creative, or goal scorers. And I'm sorry, I love Heung-min Son, but he can't lace these players' boots. Sorry, anyone who thinks he can, it's unfortunately a sign of the times. Right, Graham, the next one on the list.
Well, perfectly 1 from 5, isn't it?
The next one on the list is Gareth Bale. Talk to me about Bale.
Gareth Bale, when he started off, I remember going on a group once and somebody said he's a left back. He's not a forward attacking player. He's a left back. And I argued a little bit with him, and I thought, well, I can't. I thought he was a brilliant all-round player, very strong, Waddle-like in build, very strong, very skillful on the ball, could score all sorts of goals. You see, you want players who, when you go to the stadium, they just get you off the seat, don't they?
Yeah,
they get you off the seat. And Gareth Bale, I mean, I challenge anybody not to put him in their 10.
yeah. I mean, it was I couldn't talk about the players like Blanchflower and Jennings, etc. But Bale, it was the pace, the power, the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
That for me is the difference. Players that have got the ball dead. Now, again, why I was told the other day that Son was better than Bale. And I remember I turned around and I said, Bale's control of a football was just sublime. It was cut dead at his feet.
Yeah.
He could go past a player with pace, with skill, with power. Just brilliant. I mean, is it a shame he left, or is it a good sign that he left because it meant we'd done something right with him?
When you look at him, he's gone to Real Madrid and won every trophy, isn't he? You know, he's not just done it at one club. He's done it everywhere. I mean, look at the influence on the Welsh. I mean, what the Welsh football looked like, no disrespect, without Bale over the years. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Somebody said Vinny sideways. Good player, Vinny.
Yeah, he was a decent player. Yeah.
But not...
we'd get him my top 10.
Someone's put Vertonghen a top 3 ever.
Well,
not for me. I mean, I've been supporting Spurs nowhere near as long as you, Graham, and he doesn't make for my money. For my money, it's Ledley King in my time. In my time, I would go with Ledley King. Yeah. I would go with Goff.
Richard Goff.
I would go with Richard Goff, who was class. Mabbutt, I chuck Mabbutt in there, or Toby Alderweireld. But look, we've had so many top players. It's really tough to do.
He didn't. Sorry, yeah.
Adam has said Harry Kane's a class of his own. Let's keep going. Somebody's put Jimmy Greaves, surely to come. Bale was a monster. Hoddle must have got in. Gaza has to be number 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Best Spurs pairing ever was Perryman, King of Vertonghen. I mean, again, I can only suggest that you've not seen it. But no. There's better centre-halves than them that have played. Yeah. So that for me, Luca and Bale, happy times. Yeah. Ain't Gareth in the PGA now? He is, yeah. He's teeing off later. Eddie Ryan has said Jimmy Greaves and Pat Jennings are definitely in Graham's pick. Yeah, we have. We signed him as a win back, and Yol converted him. The rest is history. Are we talking about Bale? Because I think it was Harry that converted.
Definitely Harry. Yeah.
It was Harry that converted Bale. But Bale was the scariest player in the Prem at the time, and he did it all by himself in a very poor Tottenham team. Hoddle had to be there. I llove this.
They're all impatient.
Samways. All depends on your age. Of course it does. Good call, Savva. Goff. Yeah, Goff was... I remember watching him as I was young, but I remember thinking, that's a monster. Yeah. Like a proper centre-half.
I wanted to put some of the older players in as well. I mean, you could put anybody in, couldn't you? The same. What are the ones you said? It's Devon and Deep Blue. Well, not that. But you know what I mean.
Stuart Austin said Ledley was a class above everyone. Only centre back that Henri respected. Yeah. Look, for me, Ledley King. Here you go. Here's one that will disappoint fans. I think had Ledley King not had his injuries, I think not only would he have been one of the best centre backs in the world, but I don't think he would have been at Tottenham for long. Because at the time, Tottenham weren't a great team. The same thing that happened not with the Arsenal aspect, but the same thing with Campbell. So, in a way, it was kind of a godsend that he wasn't fit that much. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been here. John Murphy said John White.
Yeah, killed on the golf course, wasn't he? Yeah, unfortunately, sadly. John White, yeah.
Samways got booed out of the club.
Cliff Jones was another one who we met not so long ago, did we? Cliff Jones, good player.
Toby was such a good ball playing centre back. The way he used to spray the ball for us, I love.
No one's doubting that.
Alderweireld, class player. Yeah. Alex is back in again with his Skip love. Skip will be top 4 very soon for my money. Trust me, Savva. Listen, the guy needs to have a couple of years and demonstrate if he's that level. I've not seen anything yet which makes me think he's that level. Would he get in at Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea? No. That's the level we're looking at. Let's move on. Should we go on to the next player?
So exciting. Is it 4 left?
4 left.
Which seems, yeah.
The next player,
Cool.
and again, this isn't in order,
Cool.
apart from the top one.
Look at these 4.
These 4, I mean, 4 of my... These 4 are my favourite 4 Spurs players ever. Mine. But this is Graham's list. The next player is David Ginola. Now, hang on. Let me quickly fan myself. What? I mean, talk to me. I know he's one of your favourites ever. Talk to me about Ginola.
It was just a pleasure to watch him. He had most fantastic ball skill for a big man as well. Look at the size of him. He was huge. He used to run from his own half, right in a very narrow line down that wing, and nobody could get to him at all. I remember we played Charlton away one night, and I was told to sit there and be quiet because obviously I was in amongst all the Charlton people. And somebody came up to the end. He said, "I never realised how good this bloke is." He said, "He's huge, and he was bringing balls down on his chest." It's got to be in my 10. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if people wanted Son in ahead of him, but I mean,
just quickly, this is how we know we've got a troll in the show. Ginola is the 90s Lamella. Now, I would kindly ask you that if you're going to troll, please go away. That's not even an opinion.
Lamella was average.
For any of you that didn't see Ginola play, and for any of you that will purely look at stats and go, "Oh, Son's better and Kulusevski's better and this player's better." David Ginola, let me tell, and again, sorry if I'm preaching to people that did get to see him. David Ginola had the most wonderful skill. Right foot, left foot. He could ping a corner in from either side. He had this ability, didn't he, Graham, he'd get the ball.
Phenomenal.
There'd be 4 players in front of him and he'd come out the other side with the ball. And he was just a joy to watch. Yeah. The crosses he whipped in. Now, here's the difference, because anybody that will just go and look at stats, Ginola played in a team that would finish 11th to 14th regularly, right? We weren't a great team then, right? Ginola also played left wing of a 4-4-2. Yeah? Left wing, not left wing forward. He doesn't play where Kulusevski and Son and Salah and Mane didn't play in that position. He played on the left wing. Now, if you can't tell how much I love Ginola, right? Now, David Ginola, playing for Tottenham Hotspur, who finished 11th, got double player of the year. I mean, what achievement is that, Graham?
Well, to me, it was a pleasure to go and watch him. That's what you want. You want to go to a game and have people playing in front of you who it's just a pleasure to watch. 2-footed, could do everything. The bloke could do it. So I heard someone say, he doesn't get as many goals as Son. I mean, it's like, it's just...
I tell you what, I'd rather watch all day long.
No comparison whatsoever.
All day long. I mean, what I love players that have got complete control of the ball at all times. Like a Messi, like a Ronaldo. When the ball's at their feet, you never think, "Oh, this first touch is going to bounce." And Ginola had that. And one thing, when I was doing my coaching badges, Graham taught me, went through my coaching badges with me. So thank you for that, Graham, all those years ago. I think I've paid you back with enough curries and roast dinners over the time. Was what Ginola had that ability to do was his first touch always took him into space that allowed him for his next pass. His touch was killed stone dead where he wanted to maneuver it. And I just loved him. I think what a joy to watch. Anyone saying he didn't get a move to a big club clearly doesn't know the story of when he was meant to be going to Barcelona.
Man United as well, I think.
Yes, yes, Man United, but he was due to be signing for both. Yeah. Man United fell through. Barcelona fell through because when he was at Newcastle, Kevin Keegan had just sold Andy Cole and said, "Sorry, David, I can't sell you as well. The fans will lynch me." What could have been? What a player. Him at PSG. Oh, God, he was just phenomenal. He was just great. Let's move on. I'm having a moment. I just loved him.
These 3. Look at these 3.
You all know the 3 coming up.
Guarantee it. Well, if anybody disagrees with these 3.
If anyone doesn't agree with these 3, then they're trolls. It's got to be, right? It's got to be.
Which one are you going to choose?
I'm going to go with this guy. It was a maverick. Had the personality to go with it. It's a shame, really. I put this man into the bracket of troubled genius. And genius, the word. Talk to me about Gaza.
Unbelievable. The talent that bloke had, his close control and skill is phenomenal. And when he went to, if he goes to Rome now, he's an absolute hero. They laud him, don't they, after the Lazio? He was brilliant there as well. Not many players have had the balls to go abroad and play. It's all right to play here in the English league. Like people like Gerrard played for a year, but he went to another league and was brilliant in that league as well. You've got to put, Gazza's in there. I remember somebody I know went to the training ground once and he said he was such a great bloke as well. He said he sat there chatting to us. He was signing all the autographs. I just think what's happened to him as well is so sad. I think to see him now, but if anybody thinks Paul Gascoigne shouldn't be in there, well, great player. Fantastic.
So
can't say any more.
A couple of things about Gazza. Like when I see now, Graham, things like Declan Rice, 150 million, right? How much would Paul Gascoigne be in this market?
$1 billion.
For any of the younger fans that haven't had the chance to watch Gazza play, again, none of this nonsense, right? None of this nonsense about a number 8, a number 6, double pivot. He did it all, didn't he?
Phenomenal ability, just phenomenal, just great player. That lovely free kick against Arsenal, always remember that one. I've
just got visions of that year we won the 91 FA Cup of him just dribbling through people for fun. Like, again, what I loved about him, most flair players don't tend to have that strength. But he was so, wasn't he? Yeah. Like, he was like, get out of the way, ball stuck at his feet.
A lot of body strength.
I'm going to block this person who's just a troll. Sorry. I'm talking about Gazza being like Ndombele. Let's block that user. Pointless. We're here for mature football chat. Also, Gazza scored some sublime goals.
Yeah, the gun against Scotland for England.
And up until recently, it was no coincidence that for about 50 years, the only time England had made 2 semi-finals was when Gazza was in the team, which was the 1990 World Cup, which he tore that up, didn't he? He was immense. And then and then the Euro 96. And one story I always remember about Paul Gascoigne that he told was when he played for Rangers and he'd been on the piss the night before. Typical Gazza.
He likes to drink.
He'd been on the piss the night before and he was playing for Rangers. I think he said it was against Celtic. And was it Ali McCoist or whatever had to go to his house and go, Gazza, where are you? Come on, get up. And he was pissed. And anyway, they bundled him in, done his boots up, put him out on the pitch. And then he said, the next thing I remember, I woke up the next day. And he said he woke up, some of the players were there. And he went, well, what happened? And he went, don't you remember? And he went, no. And he went, you were drunk. We put you on the pitch. You scored a hat-trick and got man of the match. And then you went clubbing. And now you're woken up again. Yeah. And you just think, even when drunk. Let's move on. Gazza for me
was funny as well. He's a very funny man. He's brilliant now.
Troubled.
I watched him with Vinnie Jones the other week on a programme, and it's quite, they're great friends apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing an evening together.
Nobody's disagreeing with that.
No, I don't know how anyone can. They're doing an evening together soon, by the way. I'm not sure where it is. A hotel in London somewhere. It's an evening with Gazza and Vinnie Jones. I am going to try and get tickets for that. The next player is out. There's 2 left.
2 to go.
So this next one, the last one will be Graham's favourite of all time. Talk to me about the God. Talk to me about Glenn Hoddle.
Well, what can I say about Glenn Hoddle? When he was England manager, they all said he was the best player in training, didn't they? He was better than any of the players. And he was about 40 odd.
Yeah.
Just some of the goals he scored as well. Some great goal. That chip at Watford, wasn't he, when he dinked it over the keeper? A genius. You can describe him as a genius. I mean, if anybody puts anybody above him, well, just a genius. Great skill on the ball. What was the one where the crossbar challenge? I think out of 20, I think he regularly got 18 crossbar hits. Yeah. That takes some doing as well. Fantastic player. Just a fantastic player. Would walk into any team. How much would he be worth now?
The thing is as well, he was tall, wasn't he? He was gangly, but just had this wonderful. Yeah. Again, it's that close control, that touch, that vision, that pass. Everything that we lack from a midfielder, somebody that can get on the ball and create and dictate and
also a really good bloke as well. When you hear him on the television now, he doesn't say bad about anybody.
Yeah,
a genius. I think anybody who played in that era will say, who played for England for him, will say he was phenomenal.
Yeah,
great player.
And just a shame that England managers at that time didn't play with a flair player, did they? And he just didn't get he didn't get the caps he deserved to.
They used to say, as he chipped the ball over the top, he used to put backspin on it so the player didn't run off the pitch. It was over the top, backspin on it, and then the forward could get on the end of it.
Now, this is a good point. Stuart Austin has said Hoddle would have won a World Cup if he had been born in any other country.
Yeah.
And Hoddle himself says it in his documentary, doesn't he? He says, if I was Italian, Spanish, Argentinian, I would have had over 150 caps. And that was the shame of English football for me. Managers basically doing what Gareth Southgate does now. We won't go into that, but doing what Southgate does now. Don't want the skillful player. Don't want the maverick. Don't want the magician.
Gets you off your seat.
Get absolutely. Imagine him now in any formation playing as the number 10 behind the striker. Just phenomenal.
Yeah. Love him to bits.
Glenn, just what a player. What a guy. What a player. Love him. Graham, I don't think it's taken.
A lot of people have got it.
Kuva99, how you doing? He's put big up Savva and Graham. 3 streams on at the same time that I wanted to watch. What can you do, eh? Well, Kuva, what you could have done was watch us. So off you go. No, only joking. Kuva99 in the house. How are you, sir? I hope you are well. I might see you on a stream this weekend of some sort, playing some crazy game called Wankety Wank, which was very, very funny. I will give you that. But anyway, Kuva, hold the line.
Brace yourself.
Going into number 1, this is absolutely no one is not getting this, Graham. Everyone is going to agree with you, I'm pretty sure. You're old enough to remember him. You've seen him play live multiple times.
I've seen him play non-league.
You've seen this guy play live in the 60s, but then you've seen all the players that have come and gone after him at Spurs. Why is Jimmy Greaves, rest in peace, Jimmy, but why is Jimmy Greaves the best ever to play for Tottenham?
I've never seen any striker ever carve through a side, just drift through them. Just drift. That classic goal he got from halfway, just drift through them. And again, the pitches in those days weren't very good. They're not like these billiard tables they play on now. God knows how many goals he'd score now. But he was just fantastic. Unbelievable player. It's got to be my number 1. Closely followed by the last 3, probably. But, just phenomenal. Again, close control. We keep coming back to that. Good touch.
Yeah.
Ball at his feet all the time, you see. And when that ball came over, first tap, boom, it gives you that split second to get a shot in.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to miss, he used to say. Never be afraid to miss. He said, because, if you miss a goal, and I've done it when I've played, you miss a goal, blimey, you don't want the ball after that. You're frightened in case you're going to miss again. He didn't do that. Never be afraid to miss was a great thing he said, Jimmy. But I watched him one night, and he must have been well on the drinking then. He played for Barking in a non-league game at my non-league team, Dartford. I stood behind the goal, and he got so much abuse. And to watch him play in that stand, and I nearly cried. It was that heartbreaking to watch him. Because, fantastic. I can't say any more than that. Unbelievable player.
I just want to add to that. What a wonderful, the fact that when he finished playing, his personality, for any of you that ever saw Saint and Greavesy, just had a wonderful sense of humour. Obviously, the drink was the devil for him.
Yeah.
But what a player. And I always hear now, Graham, they didn't play against fit players but they played on these awful pitches with these medicine balls.
You've got to remember his fitness level would be the same as these players now, wouldn't it? I mean, as people say, he wouldn't get past these defenders now. Well, with the modern day fitness, yes, he would. Of course he would. And you can never beat class. Class will always win out, And I don't see, when people go on about defenders and fitness, I don't see many fantastic defenders, really. There's a lot of howlers made in games, aren't they? He'd have picked up on that.
Let's quickly move on to that. Look, okay, everybody, hope you really enjoyed that from Graham. It's good to get perspective from somebody who's been there, seen it and done it, right? Somebody who's seen every single player on the list that we've just talked about. You good for 10 more minutes, Graham?
Good for 10 more minutes, yeah. As long as the fee goes up, it's called.
I'll pay you in cups of tea or something. So for 10, 15 more minutes, I want to talk about that. I keep hearing, Graham, and you know me, I keep hearing the Premier League and players don't want to come here and it's tough and the defences and this and this. I look through the Premier League, right? I'm going to write these down, and I look at Ruben Diaz, right? I look at Virgil van Dijk. I look at Laporte. After that, I start looking and going, where are all these top centre halves that players from abroad apparently wouldn't cope in our league? Why is it that everyone thinks this league is so tough?
I don't know. I mean, there's mistake after mistake after mistake. You watch any Premiership game, and there's loads and loads of mistakes at the back. I just don't know. It's this assumption that it's such a great league. You know, it's a fantastic league, and all the.
It's a quick league.
It's fast. Yes, it's fast. Fast doesn't mean good.
Right.
Fast can mean careless. Sometimes you need to slow the ball down. You know, end up putting a bowl of cold water at half time to cool it down. You know, because it's been bang, bang, bang all over the park.
Yeah.
A friend of mine used to always say, "Smooth it" in a game. It's a great expression. Smooth it. Get your foot on it and play at your speed. But no, I don't see many great defenders now, and we certainly haven't got many, have we? Really, when you look at our,
I like
that we didn't let many in, did we?
No. Look, I like Romero. I think Romero's good. I do think our fans are doing what they normally do. We see a decent, so that's harsh, not decent, but we see a player who comes in who's actually a good defender, and we go, oh my God, they're world class. Yeah, I mean, look, this is good. Luan is a United fan, by the way. He said, what are you on about Savva? There is, for example, a bloke called Harry Maguire who plays for Man U. I think Spurs should sign him. Luan, I tell you what, I can't imagine who would sign him if you guys ever sold him. Yeah, look, for me, that's the thing. Like, I heard this about Haaland. I keep hearing that, Haaland's coming to the Premier League, and how will he cope with the pace of it, and how will he cope with the defenders here? And then I look at it and I go, well, who? Two of the defenders I named there in that three play with him. Laporte and Diaz are in his team.
Yeah.
Jeff, this is where I completely will disagree with you. I've agreed with everything you said. The reason the Premier League is the best in the world is because there aren't any really weak teams. Anyone can beat anyone else. I'm sorry. Not really any weak teams in the Premier League. Are you kidding me? That league we've just watched was absolutely toilet. Sorry, I'm not. And just quickly, Graham, on this, when people say anyone can beat anyone, this tells me people don't watch other leagues. Same everywhere. Bayern Munich lost loads of games this year to teams they shouldn't. PSG did. Juventus, Milan did. Borussia Dortmund did. Real Madrid, Barcelona. Sorry, everyone loses to teams they shouldn't.
Yeah, we mustn't underestimate the depth in other countries. I mean, I watch a lot of La Liga because I watch every Barcelona game. And some of the teams are strong. So you'd be surprised. And I mean, teams like Real Madrid have lost games this year to teams you'd say are not very good. But no, I wouldn't, there's some poor sides. A friend of mine supports Brentford, and I said to him at the beginning of the season, how do you reckon you'll do? He said, I think we'll come between 10th and 15th because there's so many poor sides in the division. Where did they finish? I think 14, 15.
I can say that Brentford finished 13th. I was just going to say.
So, my friend John, well done for that. Good call. You finished 13th because he said there's so many poor sides in it. I'm sorry to say.
But again, look at this league table, Graham. We're talking about some. Again, sorry, I'm not picking on what you said there. Was it Jeff? Sorry, who said that? Sorry. But I hear this all the time. Yeah, Jeff, I hear this all the time about the league. And, right, there's no poor teams and everyone beats everyone. Norwich, Watford, Burnley, Leeds, Everton, Southampton, Villa, Palace, Newcastle. That's the bottom half. Newcastle didn't win a game until like November. Is that strong? Even then, let's go above that. No. Wolves don't score goals. Brighton don't score many goals. Leicester, they're okay. West Ham, Man United, Spurs, Arsenal. This isn't a prime Premier League, and I don't understand when people say it's the best. I just don't think anyone watches any other leagues.
No, well, that's the thing. You've got to watch it. You can't just say, I mean, I don't know the Portuguese league. For all I know, the Portuguese can't say it. The Portuguese league is very good. There's some good sides. Enough good players come out of it that are signed by the teams in this country. I don't like disrespecting other countries either.
I don't mind that as much. Like, I'll say the French league is poor because I watch it.
Okay, yeah.
But, and I'm not saying, you know, the Portuguese league is world class or whatever. But it's this notion that no other league can do this, and the Premier League. It's been drilled into us by Sky Sports. Drilled in the quickest league in the world. Yeah, yeah. But quick doesn't, as you said, quick can mean mistakes. Quick can mean sloppy. For me, the standard of defending has gone so poor. So poor. Look, the fact that you've got people now that play for England like Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings years ago, Graham, nowhere near an England squad.
Yeah.
Look at the England squad that had Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Ledley King, and Jamie Carragher, all in the same squad.
Yeah.
Look at players like Martin Keown, couldn't get in an England team.
I mean, Liverpool and Man City are so dominant. Also, how many thrashing? I mean, we thrashed a load of sides last year away, didn't we? We were winning 5-0.
Right. Did we score against Brentford? I mean, sorry, not Brentford. Sorry, I don't know why I've just said Brentford there. Norwich. Didn't we stick 5 past them and 3 at home?
Yeah.
Leeds, we stuck 5 past them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sorry for me.
I don't mind people having those views if they've actually seen the La Liga teams. Have they watched Getafe? Have they watched Elche? You know, and teams like that. This season, quite a few of those teams were up the top. It's only when Barcelona got a kick on at the end they got second place. But no, I mean, you can't disrespect other countries.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that we do. I think the Europa League, the Conference League, and the Champions League this year actually showed it. You know, look, of course, you expect Man City and Liverpool to be in the semi-finals or the final of the Champions League, but again, Real Madrid beat City, beat Liverpool. Look at Roma won the Conference League. Who was in it from England? Leicester. Whatever, do you know what I mean? The Europa League, who won it? Frankfurt.
Yeah,
Frankfurt. You know, I was told West Ham were going to win that. Leicester had started in that competition, and so look, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah,
Graham, thank you very much as always. I'm going to make you a cup of tea now. I would just like to say thank you very much to everybody who stuck through. Some of the faces have been in there for the last 2 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah. Thank you for getting me over 1,000 subscribers. While this show has happened, Mane has signed for Bayern Munich. Basuma has signed for Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm about to sign myself off. Thank you very much. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you very much indeed.
See you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.